Middays is presented by FedEx. FedEx, helping small businesses simplify e-commerce.
We, the North, are now we, the champions. The Raptors, the 2019 NBA champs.
3-2. Here it is! The Washington Nationals are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
Let the good times roll. LSU sits on the throne of college football.
And this one is over. Kansas City has won their first Super Bowl in 50 years.
Now, here are your hosts for Sports 56 Middays, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Out in the countryside, lay back and smell the sun, warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some good friends.
Busy morning here on Sports 56 Middays. A lot going on here locally and around the country in the world of sports. And we welcome you into the Thursday, August 6th, 2020 edition of Sports 56 Middays. I am Greg Gaston along with Eli Savoy and Gabe Kuhn. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, the great folks at the FedEx Corporation. Streamline your e-commerce business so you can focus on growing sales and strengthening customer relationships. Learn more at fedex.com/e-commerce. All right, coming up on the program today, there's going to be some news from the University of Memphis that's going to come out publicly in the next minute or so, and we have that information, and it's about what they're doing with tickets for the football season now that we know what the game plan is from the American Conference. Right now, the Tigers have 11 games on their schedule. We'll see what happens with the OVC opponent that they play later in the year. The OVC is not yet announced, but that's the game plan. We don't know exactly how many fans, if any, will be allowed, but there's going to have options. So there's going to be options for you as ticket buyers, as season ticket holders, and we're going to talk about that here in the first segment, but we're also going to talk about everything Memphis Athletics with Laird Veach, the University of Memphis Athletics Director. That'll be coming your way at 11:30. Before we get to that, though, Loaded for Bear. Tim Mulqueen at 10:45. He's the head coach of Memphis 901 FC. They have another big home match on Saturday, a nationally televised game against North Carolina FC. They've been playing pretty good soccer the last couple outings. We'll talk to Tim at 10:45. At 11:05, all things college football with Mr. College Football, Tony Barnhart. As I mentioned, at 11:30, Laird Veach will join us. Also, our 5 favorite songs, around 12:05. Today's topic is light. The word light needs to be in the title of your song. You can text in via the First Bank text line with your list at 67129. If you're watching us live, you can message us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram with those lists. We have 2.5 questions today. In our NFL 3-for-all, we'll take a look at the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings. We'll give you our picks for who we think the 3 most influential players are in the history of the organizations this week today being Chicago and Minnesota. We do it every Tuesday and Thursday as we bring you closer and closer to the start of the National Football League campaign. A lot going on with the Grizzlies, obviously, who played again yesterday. Great start, bad finish. They lose and fall to 0-4. We will discuss. And the PGA Championship underway from Harding Park, TPC at Harding Park. And Eli Savoy's all set for that PGA Championship. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. Yeah, we finally got the first major of the year. Only took till August, but we got our first major of the year underway.
You have a tree growing out of your head, but that's a nice little logo for the PGA Championship.
Yeah, I noticed that when I did that it kind of makes me look like a weird hairdo or something there with that thing going on. So I might have to change that thing. It didn't work out as well as I had hoped.
You look like Sideshow Bob.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, that's a weird little hairdo I got working here with the tree growing out top of my head. But yeah, we got the Tiger Woods group going at just under 30 minutes from now. Tiger, Rory, Justin Thomas will be hitting the course. Here's a little stat. This is pretty amazing. If you go back to starting in 2014, so going back to the 2014 PGA Championship, Tiger Woods has only made one cut at a PGA Championship.
I did not know that.
The year he finished second in St. Louis. That's the only time he's made the cut. He played in 14 and 15, missed the cut. He then didn't play in 16 and 17, finished second in 18, and missed the cut last year.
And he was not picked by any of the four of us yesterday in the four-man scramble.
And apparently going to a new putter. So we're going to keep our eye on that.
Yeah, at the 11th hour, trying to find a new putter. I don't know if that's a smart move, but we'll see if it pays off for one Tiger. That's one star-studded threesome that's going off together here, as you mentioned, in about a half hour. We'll keep you up to date on the PGA Championship. Again, on the West Coast, so a later start, but things are underway.
We get prime time golf this week. That's awesome stuff.
All right, the Grizzlies, not awesome stuff. They lost yesterday to the Utah Jazz, 124-115. If you go back to pre-bubble, pre-COVID-19, they've now lost 6 of 7. They're 0-4 in the bubble. They will play Oklahoma City tomorrow. They still are in 8th place, but that is dwindling down to a game lead. Spurs did lose a game yesterday, but the game lead is over the Portland Trailblazers. Yesterday, of course, the first game without Jaren Jackson Jr., who's been lost for the season. In that game, they got out to a 13-point first-half lead as things were going pretty well, but finally they ran out of gas. And in the end, Utah just too much firepower. Joe Ingles with a big game, 25. The conductor, Mike Conley, former Grizzlies stud, 23 points. For the Grizzlies, Grayson Allen has been, I don't know how you describe him. Heaven sent Grayson Allen, maybe somebody you can depend on for the future on this team. A former Utah Jazz went for 20. He had 6 of 8 threes. Jonas Valanciunas, a double-double at 21 and 14. Dylan Brooks had 23, so much better, but he fouled out. And then John Morant, 20 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds. But again, they just could not hold a double-digit lead that they had in the first half. And we were talking with Joe Mullinax yesterday on the show about the starting lineup, and Taylor Jenkins did go JV and Clark together, which they did not play together an awful lot this season, but he went with the two bigs. And again, an early start, looked pretty good, but now 0-4, and it's a matter of time. I know people are still hanging on. They're hanging on, but they are hanging on by a thread.
Yeah, it's the end of the first half yesterday was the deciding point of that game. The 22-1 run in the final 5 minutes of the first half. Even though the Grizzlies did then in the second half gave themselves a chance again. But down the stretch faltered, and they just kept. You can't let Joe Ingles be wide open. That means he's not going to miss many shots when you give him the room that they were giving him yesterday. And it was just defensive breakdowns where he was just standing all by himself at the 3-point line. But yeah, I mean, Grayson Allen, that's 11 of 14 from 3-point range the last 2 games. That's pretty good, especially on a team that nobody else can really make a 3-pointer. It's weird with Brandon Clark because he's been fantastic. He's been really good, and he's been off the bench all year long, been really good. But every time they've inserted him in the starting lineup, he's not good. His numbers as a starter are terrible. And there's only been, I think it's 4 games now. But like he's like literally averaging like 2 points a game as a starter. He just, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the fact that he's playing with Jonas, it's their whatever, but as a starter, for whatever reason, Brandon Clark just has struggled all year.
Well, there's a few things that you can consider. One, like you said, you're used to a certain group you're going into the game with, the backups for the most part, and here you're with the starters. Number 2, you're going up against the starters of the opponent, right? And then number 3, he's just not charged at the beginning of the game. He's not fired up the way he is coming off the bench, not ready to go. I don't think it's that. But there is something to say about Brandon Clark, who's been incredible. And what a find by the Grizzlies. In the starting lineup, you're going up against the better players for the opponent that you're playing, and maybe it's a little bit tougher because Brandon Clark this year, he comes into the game, he gets the ball in the paint, he scores. That's the way he normally does things. But yesterday was a rough game for him. DeAnthony Melton has been terrible. And I know he's one that Taylor Jenkins really depends on. I like his hustle. I like the fact that he rebounds well for a small guy. He goes in there and he battles. But not being able to play mostly the 2 and more so as a backup point with the injury to Tyus Jones, his shooting has been horrible, just horrendous, and they've needed him.
Well, that was one of the big differences when they were playing well is just what he was able to bring off the bench and doing a bit of everything. Now, he is not known as a great shooter, but certainly, not having Tyus Jones and it has really affected him because they were very effective in that backcourt together. So that has certainly caused problems for the Grizzlies overall. I mean, you look at these remaining games, and it's hard to find just on paper wins. I mean,
on paper, there's no wins.
Yesterday, you thought, okay, they're without one of their best players too. So and the Jazz had not been playing well at all.
No.
So you're like, okay, this one could still be winnable. Get off to the good start, feeling good, then you give up that huge run, fall behind, and then falter down the stretch as well. But if you look, if with the remaining games the Grizzlies have, if they can win one of them. Do you think there's one win in there?
I think there's one win. I don't know where it's coming. It all depends on what other teams do with their studs. But you have Oklahoma City, you have Boston, Toronto, and Milwaukee. Is that right?
Yes.
Milwaukee, yeah.
If the Grizzlies win one game, Portland would have to go 3-2 to pass them.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly that's very realistic for Portland to go 3-2. The Pelicans, who have 5 games remaining yet, would have to go 4-1. And the Spurs would have to go 4-0. So if you can just win one game, there's still a pretty darn good chance you're going to be in the play-in.
Which is hard to believe. Yeah, I was looking at those numbers are with the Grizzlies winning one game. I saw the numbers tweeted out by Chris Harrington from the Daily Memphian. If they go donut for 8, the Blazers would have to go 2-3.
Well, yeah, you just change all those by one game.
But still, think about this. Spurs would still have to go 3-1. Pelicans 3-2, which is doable. Suns 4-1. Kings 4-1. Blazers 2-3. You would think they would get to that point. But yes, one win, you still have an inkling of a chance.
If they go winless, I think Portland and New Orleans probably both pass them. If they win one, I think Portland, there's a good chance Portland passes them and has the 8 seed, so you have to try and beat Portland twice in the play-in. But if they can win one game, I don't think either the Pelicans or Spurs get there. I think you get into the play-in with one win and probably go as the 9 seed with the tough task of trying to beat Portland twice in a row.
I still give the Grizzlies about a 5% chance of this being accomplished. I don't know. Even if
5% to get into the play-in?
Yeah. I just don't think they're good.
But
with these injuries,
so
they're not good.
Have a 5% chance of winning a game?
Yes.
That's ridiculous. 5%?
Oklahoma City, Boston, Toronto, Milwaukee. And again, even if those big 3, and Oklahoma City's not chopped liver, but if those big 3 even sit out a player, for example, if Toronto sits out Kyle Lowry and Milwaukee sits out Giannis and Boston sits out Tatum, they're still as good or better than the Grizzlies right now with those injuries.
It could be interesting, too, because let's say it comes down to the final game. Let's say the Grizzlies lose their next 3, so they're 0-7, and they've got Milwaukee in that last game. And basically it is a situation where if they win, they're in the play-in. If they lose, New Orleans is in the play-in. So you know that then if the Bucks do sit everybody out, you know everybody's going to say, well, the league told them to because they want to get Zion into the play-in.
Right.
I mean,
no, if they played everybody, right? You're talking about the Grizzlies having to win that 8th game, right?
Oh, yeah. I guess so, yeah, the Grizzlies have to lose. So, yeah, if they play everybody, yeah.
Yeah.
Then
Milwaukee plays Giannis for 40 minutes.
The league told them they had to do that. They had to beat the Grizzlies.
Right, yeah. Giannis played 42 minutes, a season high, in the 8th game in the bubble.
But, I mean, it very well could come down to the Grizzlies for that game against Milwaukee, which if you just think about game versus Milwaukee, if that's what it comes down to, that's not a good thing. But, again, Milwaukee probably not going to play if they do, it's probably going to be very similar to what they did against the Nets the other night, where they play them in the first half and don't play them in the second half, and they lost to a terrible Nets team in doing that. So, but it very well could come down to that Milwaukee game deciding the fate whether you get into the play-in or not.
It could, but remember the guys that don't play enough during the regular season, they're going to be hungry, so they're going to go in there. They're going to want to play and play well. What's the mental state of the Grizzlies in that 8th game? Are they dead tired from 7 losses and just want to get it over with, or do they really clamp down and play a great game and beat a Milwaukee team without Giannis and sneak into the playing game? So, look, it's still possible. I don't think it's feasible. I really don't believe it's going to happen, but it's possible. It's possible. By the way, if they don't get in, they don't even get into the play-in game. Now, what would it mean for the draft lottery if you're in the play-in game but you lose? You're in the lottery, right?
Yeah, if you
don't
only
a playoff team.
Yeah.
Only play. So the draft.
The Grizzlies, if they don't make the playoffs, will be the last team of the lottery, basically.
Right, and it would take a miracle to get one of the top 4 spots, is it?
Yeah, that's what's decided by the lottery.
Yeah, so the Grizzlies get a top 4, then
they'd have
they
like
get
a 2% chance or whatever.
Right.
They'd have just a few combinations.
Yeah, but they had a low percentage of not making even the play-in game, and it looks like that's probably going to be reality. But, yeah, they would have a low percentage to get one of the top 4. If they got one of the top 4, they keep it. If not, it goes to the Celtics. If somehow they do pull off a miracle, then the 2021 pick will be handed over to the Celtics unprotected. So that's the latest with the Grizzlies. By the way, former Tiger Jeremiah Martin, 20 points yesterday for the Brooklyn Nets in a loss to the Boston Celtics. So good for Jeremiah Martin. Here's a guy who's just worked his behind off. After his freshman year, you thought, my gosh, I don't even know if the guy could be a starter in college. He ends up being one of the all-time greats. If you look at the numbers, what he accomplished in 4 years at Memphis, and he's just continued to work hard and hard and hard to get that opportunity. So I know everybody's happy about Jeremiah Martin. All right, before the timeout, the news is now officially out, so we can talk about it here for a few minutes, and we'll get into it a lot deeper with Laird Veach when he joins us at 11:30. But the University of Memphis and their athletics department, they have launched a Keep Memphis Roaring campaign, Eli.
Yeah, basically this is their plan because this ever-changing world, they still don't for sure know exactly how many fans they're going to have at the games or be allowed to have. But right now, as it stands, if they were playing today, they would have to have a 12 feet social distance setup, basically 12 feet between people, groups of people, I guess, out at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. So that is that would not allow them to accommodate all of the season ticket holders, which was their original plan to be able to do so. So they've launched this thing where season ticket holders have their options of what they want to do. There is a 12-foot scenario. There's a 6-foot scenario as far as social distancing is concerned. But basically, you can opt in, you can opt out in either one of those situations and either apply your money that you were paying, either just basically donate it for this year, apply it to next year's season tickets, or get a refund. And then there's if you opt in and it ends up being the 12-foot scenario, basically, you then will have access to tickets for this season, whereas if you opt out, there may be some slight access. But in that 12-foot scenario, there's not very many people in Liberty Memorial Stadium if you have to put 12 feet between basically each little group of people.
Yeah, look, it's a little confusing, but the further the distance between fans, the less people that can get into the stadium. And that's talking today here on August 6th. Who knows what will happen when they actually kick off on September 5th, God willing. But Laird will be on to talk about it in more detail, but also in layman's terms what's happening. But as Eli said, you're going to have that opportunity to opt in, to opt out, to donate the money. And really what they're hoping is that loyal Memphis fans who have purchased season tickets will look to either, again, keep that money to go to next year or to donate the money. But those that are wanting to get a refund, and again, it is your right to do so, it puts them more in a bind financially. Yeah, so they're reaching out to their fans with the hope that they will help them financially.
They need money. right now because of what's going to, obviously with all this. But yeah, there are basically 3 options that you have. And if you go to keepmemphisroaring.com, that is the website where it explains all of this stuff to you as well. Like, and there you can look at it and see all that. There's little other bonuses you get, like mini Cotton Bowl replica helmets and things like that for opting in. So there's some other stuff involved. But that keepmemphisroaring.com is the website for all those for all the information.
All right, when we come back, let's play 2.5 questions. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallow and Stats. Weekday afternoons from 3 till 6. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for a fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so that you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters.
Football is back, and so is HBO's Hard Knocks, the award-winning series that gives fans an all-access look at what it takes to make it in the National Football League. This season, for the first time ever, Hard Knocks will follow 2 teams, the Los Angeles Chargers and the Los Angeles Rams, as they make their way through training camp and prepare for the most unprecedented season in football history. Hard Knocks Los Angeles premieres Tuesday, August 11th at 10 p.m. on HBO and stream it on HBO Max. Be sure to listen to the official Hard Knocks podcast hosted by Peter Schrager every week, available wherever you get podcasts.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Hi folks, Jeff Jackson, General Manager at Sunrise Collierville. Thinking about a new or used car or truck and not sure where to get the most for your money? Think no more. Sunrise Collierville's 31st annual tent sale is going on now. With the largest selection of vehicles in the Mid-South to choose from and factory rebates up to $8,000 and discounts up to $10,000. Bad credit, bankruptcy, slow pay, it's okay. Here at Sunrise, we specialize in secondary financing. If you got a job, you're approved at Sunrise Collierville. The #1 Chevrolet Buick GMC dealership in the Mid-South. The home of the guaranteed credit approval. See us online at sunrisecollierville.com.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again,
our great guest in an Eli Savoy.
Let's do it.
Well, she was an American girl.
So with the American Conference for now set with their schedule for football, Memphis is ready to open up camp. Their first game being on September 5th. They will open up camp officially tomorrow. Today, the coaching staff, some members of the coaching staff meeting the media in Zoom calls. Ryan Silverfield, Pete Lembo, the special teams coach, Mike McIntyre, the new defensive coordinator, Kevin Johns, the offensive coordinator. That's going to be happening at 11 o'clock. And there's also some other news that could be happening at 11 o'clock involving Memphis football, so we'll keep you up to date with that. Again, Laird Veach will join us at 11:30. We have Tim Mulqueen coming up at 10:45.
Boy, I did the ACC releasing their schedule today, and I'm really glad they kept that +1 non-conference game because that's created a lot of great matchups this year.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I don't understand, and I'm going to ask if we can – we're going to try to effort to get – I want to get Greg Sankey on. I know we've tried, but I just wonder why the SEC didn't go with the +1. And we'll talk to Tony Barnhart about that as well, why they didn't go with the +1. And with the ACC going +1, they could have kept those long-standing non-conference rivalry games.
Some of these teams still don't even, I guess I guess, don't even have a non-conference game yet. They're still searching for one.
Right.
Right now, they're just listed on the schedule as non-conference game, which actually is a better opponent than some are playing in their non-conference
Well,
games.
you're restricted. It either has to be a home game or an in-state opponent.
You got let's see, their non-conference opponents include Old Dominion.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them playing Liberty.
Hugh Freeze.
VMI.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
All juggernauts. Keep going.
Ohio.
Yep.
Western Kentucky. UAB.
Don't you count out the Hilltoppers?
Am I missing anybody else that's scheduled here? Oh, UCF. UCF's got Georgia Tech.
Well, that's not bad.
Samford, that's big. That's a big one for
Wait a minute, how does that work out? UCF and Georgia Tech. UCF's in Florida. Georgia Tech's in Georgia. It has to be in-state.
Yeah, they'll play at Georgia Tech.
Oh, or a home game. That's correct. All right, so that's
by
what
far the best opponent.
But that's what I expected. I didn't think all of a sudden these non-conference opponents were going to be Alabama and LSU and USC and Notre Dame.
Well, they couldn't be. That's the
Notre
problem.
Dame's in the
That's why I don't
conference
understand
now.
why they ever kept the +1 if none of the other conferences were going to play you. Because it's not like you're doing this so you can have the revenue from ticket sales for one game.
Right.
You're not being able to. I don't understand the purpose of playing these games. Like they're not money makers when you can't have fans at them.
It could have been if those big-time opponents decided that they would play at the ACC.
No, they wouldn't because they still couldn't sell tickets. They can't have fans. They're going to have a very limited number of fans.
I'm not talking about the fans. I'm talking about if the SEC decided they wanted to do an N1 to keep the long-standing non-conference rivalries going, and the ACC's already elected. Remember, the ACC made their decision first of the +1. All it had to be was home or in-state. Then you could have kept those South Carolina, Clemson, Georgia Tech, Florida State rivalries going.
Okay, yes, I get that but that still wasn't going to be a big moneymaker.
No, none of this is.
That's my whole point. What's the purpose of the one game?
Just to keep long-standing rivalries
But they're
going.
not doing that. they can't.
I know. I understand. You're saying, what's the purpose of the ACC doing the N1?
Yes.
I have no idea. Maybe for bowl purposes. Are they going to stick with 6 to become bowl eligible? And they're trying to help some of the middle-of-the-road, lesser ACC teams to get that extra win? Maybe that's what it is. It's all about trying to help their
bowl
teams
eligibility.
out.
I would assume. I guess they're just going to do 500 record.
Maybe
as bowl eligible because if your teams are playing 10 games, I would think. But
they're playing 11 in the ACC.
I know, but a lot of teams are only playing 10.
I understand that. I understand
the bowls include everybody, so you can't say it's 6 for one and 5 for the other. And I'm saying I think it's probably going to be a 500 record will be bowl eligibility, just like it's always been. As far with 6 wins in 12 games or 5 wins in 10 games.
Maybe they'll go to winning percentage like Major League Baseball is going to do.
But heck, there's probably going to be bowls that aren't played because if bowls can't sell tickets, they don't want to. They have no desire to play their games.
And when I say Major League Baseball winning percentage, that is if teams can't make up games that were already lost, like the Phillies, like the Marlins. You're not going to have a team that played 52 and a team that played 60, and they had 8 more games. Then you have to figure out some kind of a winning percentage if it's that close to make the postseason. So it's a lot of complications in everything as far as scheduling is concerned across the board, professional and amateur sports.
And I thought maybe Notre Dame would try and keep the Navy game and see if Navy would come there, but they did not keep the Navy game.
Well, Navy can only no, they can play them all because of the American Conference decision. That's right.
But I guess because that game was supposed to obviously be in Ireland and then switch to Annapolis. But
right.
They have Western Michigan, I believe it is, on their schedule. So they are not playing the Navy game.
Penn State has announced, according to Brett McMurphy, that there will be no fans allowed at any home game this year. Maryland, also from the Big Ten, announced the same thing the other day. Time now for 2.5 questions.
Who, what, where, when, how, and why? Questions start with these. Step right up and answer all my questions, if you please.
I'm just a normal kid, like you, except that I ask questions. And because I'm brave enough to ask questions, I come under scrutiny.
Asking all them questions. Why you asking all them questions?
Now here is a question for you.
What does the fuck say?
I was reading an article on ESPN.com yesterday about the NFL and players on each team, where they stood as far as the future in the Hall of Fame. And there were categories of locks, almost there, a long way to go, a lot to get done, whatever it was. So I'm going to give you the name of a player. You tell me if they are a lock for the Hall of Fame. They're in the Hall of Fame. Von Miller.
You're saying like if their career ended today?
Yeah, are they going to be a Hall of Famer with what they've accomplished? Like, yeah, you can look at it that way. If it ended today, are they a Hall of Famer?
Well, I'd have to look at his number. To this point, I would say yes.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Rob Gronkowski.
Yes.
Adam Vinatieri.
Yes.
Frank Gore.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Julio Jones.
No.
Aaron Donald.
Yes.
Khalil Mack.
No.
It's interesting because Donald, according to that article, and I forget who wrote it, Arnold, said Donald lock, Mack no, just like you. Adrian Peterson.
Yes.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Okay. Question 2. Give me your Major League Baseball, we'll call it like an all-league team. You can combine both leagues, and right now, give me the best at each position, including a lefty, a righty for starting, pitching, and a closer. So give me who you'd put right now as your like all Major League Baseball team, like they do the all pro teams in the NFL.
Oh boy, this isn't based on what they're doing this season.
No,
this is
no.
Okay. Is there a DH?
If you want to throw one in, that's fine.
Let's see here. Let me think.
And again, with 2.5 questions, ladies and gentlemen, we put each other on the spot, man. So it's tough. So he needs a few seconds to gather his thoughts. We don't do what like ESPN does with all their shows. They talk about it, the pre meetings or the meetings pre-show, and they make sure they know everything that they're going to be talking about. So I'm hitting them right here with a hard one for Major League Baseball. But I know that's his sport. All Major League Baseball team, combining both the American League and the National League. Right now, who would you have on it?
Man. This is tough. What's your? Give me your next question.
Okay. All right.
God, I'd have to put him on there.
Okay, Dwayne Wade is going to be hosting a game show. It's a show in Britain called The Cube. It's kind of like Beat the Clock, they say. I've never seen it before, but there's going to be an American version. And here in the U.S., Dwayne Wade is hosting. Give me 3 athletes who would make great game show hosts.
Current athletes, or could they be retired?
Retired.
Okay.
Current.
Well, certainly Peyton Manning.
Mm-hmm.
Shaq.
I knew you were going to go Shaq. It's an obvious one, and I think a good one.
And let me think here. 3, and they don't have any personality. I don't think Dwayne Wade is a great choice.
That's why I wanted to bring up this question. I was like, Dwayne Wade. Okay, well, let me see what you think. Who would be good? Would Barkley be good?
Barkley would be interesting. I'm not sure how good he would be, like as far as technically being good.
Yeah, he'd probably drop a couple F-bombs accidentally.
But he would be entertaining. If it just off pure entertainment factor, I think he would be really good.
So you got Manning.
I'm trying to think if there's any current athletes
Shaq
that I think would be really good. I can't think of.
Would LeBron be good?
I don't. To me, you got to have a little more kind of humor than LeBron brings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess he might be, fine if when kind of put him in that setting. Gronk.
Yeah, and Gronk has done some stuff. Maybe not a game show, but he's
part of that one terrible show that's on right now. I don't even know what exactly, because I still don't understand the show and I don't know what he actually is doing on there.
Right.
But he's actually on that one right now.
And J.J. Watt and his brothers are on the one, but it's not a game show. It's a competition show.
Yeah, that's the one Gronk is on is some, I guess, competition. I don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't know. That show's weird. So Gronk would be one of current athletes for sure.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I want you to get this baseball thing down before Tim Mulqueen joins us. So we'll take a time out, think about the baseball. Maybe you'll come up with another one for the game show. So we'll get that when we return. We'll have Tim Mulqueen when we return. 11:05, Tony Barnhart. 11:30, Laird Veach. Man, we got a busy show for you. So hopefully you can tell a friend about us here on Sports 56 and tune in and enjoy. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
At First Bank Mortgage, their core purpose is to help you get to a better place. That better place may be a lower monthly payment, that vacation you thought was impossible, or getting into a home with a fenced backyard where your kids can play. To get into your better place, First Bank Mortgage makes decisions right here at home. Dedicated to helping you get to your better place, First Bank Mortgage. Call Daniel Mooney at 901-462-0145 today. NMLS 741022. Equal housing lender.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Oh, whale! Guys, whale! Wow, whale. Oh, that's a big whale. Okay. Whale. Oh, no, whale!
The tides can turn quick on the water. Progressive's boat insurance has you covered. Get a quote today in as little as 3 minutes at Progressive.com.
Well, at least it wasn't a shark, am I right?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference. Like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Summertime and the living is easy. No more cutting or paying utilities. Literally, you guys, Town Village Audubon Park, nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $24.50. The Gourmet Chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, monthly coffee club, theme dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
Now, Back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. Here once again, our great guest in an Eli Savoy.
Let's do it.
Welcome back, everybody. 10:42 the time, hour number 1 here on Sports 56 Middays. Tim Mulqueen's running a little late with his practice, but he'll join us for a few minutes at 10:50. In the meantime, we want to get back to 2.5 questions. Gave Eli some ample time to put together his list. I asked him to give me basically like what is in the NFL an all-pro team. Do it for baseball, Major League Baseball, all Major League. Do they have a team like that? What do they call it? Like all?
Last year was the first year they did one. They did. It was first time they'd ever done an all MLB team.
Okay, so this will be again something new. People don't usually put this together where they combine the two leagues. So I'm asking you to go ahead and
what did
do
you
that.
ask for pitchers? By the way, I didn't.
Left-handed starter, right-handed starter, closer.
Okay, all right. My outfield would be Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, Mookie Betts. Third base would be Nolan Arenado. Shortstop would be Javi Baez. Second base would be Altuve. First base, Cody Bellinger. Catcher would be JT Realmuto.
Mm-hmm.
Starting right-hander would be Garrett Cole. The left-handed starter is actually tough because the best ones are kind of getting old. I guess I would still go Madison Bumgarner. And then my closer would be Aroldis Chapman. And if you're going to give me the DH, I would put Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah, I'll give you the DH. So I like that team, and it's interesting. I got a tweet, a direct message on Twitter from our friend Raider Corey, and he had very similar. He had Realmuto at catcher from the Phillies. Freddie Freeman was his first baseman. Altuve, Arenado, Francisco Lindor from Cleveland. He had Betts, Trout, and Bellinger in the outfield, and he put Judge as his DH. He had Cole and Hader. So he's missing a pitcher. But
yeah, I considered Hader for closer, but I still would put Chapman over him. And Bellinger now is playing first base for the Dodgers. That's why I put him at first base.
Oh, is he playing first base? Okay. So Corey.
And you could still put him in the outfield. I don't know if he's playing. He probably is still playing some outfield for them. I think he's playing both probably. So he had he had Judge as his DH.
He put Judge as his
that
DH.
certainly would be. That would make sense too.
Yeah, and so he has Hader as his closer, but he doesn't have. And Cole's a righty, correct?
Yeah.
So he needs a lefty and left-handed starting pitcher for his team. That's a pretty good team, though.
Left-handed starting pitchers are because Kershaw is not what he used to be.
No.
Bumgarner is not what he used to be.
Not even close.
So those were the two dominant left-handed pitchers. Blake Snell had the great year a couple of years ago, but last year wasn't very good.
Is Bieber a righty?
I think he is.
Because they can't hit him.
I'm pretty sure he's right-handed. Yeah.
Yeah,
there's just not. You look around left-handed starters, and it's like it's hard to
Corey's
find dominant left-handed starters now.
He's throwing in Bumgarner, who's now with what, Arizona?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's. I'm not going to say he's a shell of his old self. He's certainly not a shell, but he is nowhere near what he was in San Francisco during his heyday.
Like I just want to see. This is a Bleacher Report article. Best starting pitchers entering this year. I want to see if there's any left-handers. Like I don't even know. I mean, Chris Sale's no longer what he was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all of the dominant left-handers of recent years are no longer.
I wonder why that is. That's interesting. To be a left-hander growing up a kid, if you like baseball, you got an arm, got a good chance as a lefty.
Unless there's somebody that I'm not thinking of.
Probably is a few.
They got it at number 6. This is a top 25 from Bleacher Report. Top 25 starting pitchers entering this year. At 16, they got Hyunjin Ryu, who had the great year for the Dodgers last year, is with the Blue Jays now. Patrick Corbin from the Nationals, who was great in the postseason last year. Let's see if they have any. Is there any left-handers in their top 10? Do they still put? Yeah, they put Kershaw still at number 7.
Yeah, he's still a top 10 lefty.
Well, no, this is overall.
I mean, a top 10. I didn't mean lefty. Top 10 pitcher.
Yeah, he's their. I don't think he is.
You don't think he's top 10 pitcher anymore?
No. I think Bumgarner still has more than Kershaw has.
Kershaw came back.
They don't even have Bumgarner in their top 25. They have Kershaw at number 7.
Well, Kershaw came back after having his initial his debut scratched. Right, he was scratched in his first scheduled start, and then came back and threw I think 5 2/3 and was good, really good.
So they have 3 in their top 25 are left-handed guys.
Wow, there's a deficiency of left-handed starters in the league.
Mike Minor is the only other one who's at number 23. It's Kershaw, Hyun-Jin Ryu, and Mike Minor are the only 3 left-handed starters they have in the top 25 of starting pitchers for this season.
Maybe there's a few on the Marlins team because the Marlins, who have battled COVID-19 with 19 different players, I think it was, they sweep the O's yesterday in a doubleheader. And that's not saying a lot, but the O's actually got off to a pretty quick start. The Marlins are now 5-1. Break up the Marlins. Wait a minute. They already tried to do that with COVID-19. The Marlins are 5-1 now. Did you think of a third for the game show if you're not going to go with Gronk? Is there any, like Ricky Fowler be a good host? Does a lot of those commercials. It's kind of got that dry humor. I'm thinking of a golfer that may be a good game show host.
I think if you were doing a golfer, I think especially of the bigger names, I think Justin Thomas would probably be the guy.
I don't know if he has personality, does he?
Oh, yeah. Thomas has personality. Thomas was great when he did for the match, when he was the on-course guy for the match this year.
Yeah, but he's talking golf. He's talking about technical golf as opposed to just having humor and all that. But, I mean, he's well-spoken, good-looking young guy and all that, but I don't know about him. I don't know. I just thought maybe Fowler does all those commercials and everything like that. And as far as, Gronk's an obvious, but he's such a goofball. I mean, he's really a goofball. Shaq is a goofball too, but
I think Gronk could be fun in a game show type setting because he would get really excited and have fun with the people.
That's true.
He would make himself part of the fun of it,
part of the game,
having a blast.
Right. I don't know. Maybe somebody like Von Miller. Von Miller. He's very not only talented on the field, but man, he's an intelligent guy. He's fun to. I've heard interviews with him, and just I don't know. He seems like he has a little sense of humor as well that might work as far as a game show host. In the meantime, Tim Mulqueen's going to join us here in just a second. Memphis 901 FC back on the pitch on Saturday. Nationally televised game. It'll be broadcast on ESPN Deportes. It'll also still be locally broadcast on CW30. Memphis 901 FC will be hosting North Carolina Football Club, and they're coming off a win last Saturday against the St. Louis Football Club, winning 1-0 and a shutout win for Tim Howard. They are in second place right now in Group G, But again, we're hoping to get Tim Mulqueen for a few minutes. Their practice has run late. They texted us to let us know, and if he's not able to join us, he's not able to join us. But again, Saturday, back in action at home. Limited amount of people, again, in the stands. About 1,000, I think, is the max, and I believe there's still some tickets available if you want to go see Memphis 901 FC on Saturday.
Raider Corey corrected me. That's right. Max Muncy is actually playing first for the Dodgers. Bellinger is playing the outfield this year.
He was my pick. Cody Bellinger, my pick in the American League when we did our preseason predictions.
Not in the American League.
Sorry, National League for MVP, and Aaron Judge in the American League. Judge hit another home run in the first game of the doubleheader yesterday against the Phillies, in which the Yankees lost. What's he up to, 7 home runs now? Aaron Judge?
I know it was 6 games in a row. I believe it is 7 total.
Well, he didn't he have 7 home runs in the 6 games?
Yeah, there was one game he had two home runs.
And then he hit another one yesterday. So is he at 8?
He must be. Yeah, then maybe it would get. I'm pretty sure it was 6 games. He got to 6. Maybe it was only 5. But I do believe he hit 2 in one of those. So whatever the streak was, I think he had 1 more home run than the streak.
Gabe?
He's only at 7.
So he's at 7 home runs, and the Yankees have played how many games now? 13? They played 10? He's at 7 home runs. Remember when we were predicting home runs for this year in a 60-game season? Right? We were predicting it, and we were saying...
11.
So they played 11 games. He's at 7. If they get to 20 games... I mean, if he gets... We were talking about 20 home runs
I think the over-under was 19.5 for the leader.
Yeah, so roughly 20 in 60 games. If you're playing all the games, you're hitting a home run every third game. Aaron Judge on pace to smash 20 home runs for his abbreviated 2020 season.
Yeah,
all
but
right.
I will keep Bellinger as my first base because he does still play some first base. But Raider Corey is correct. Muncy is the everyday first baseman, and Bellinger's mainly playing outfield, but playing some first base.
All right, as promised, Tim has dialed in. We don't have a lot of time, but we certainly want to get Tim Mulqueen in. He's the head coach at Memphis 901 FC. Again, as I mentioned, Saturday back in action, nationally televised match against North Carolina FC. And Tim joins us now on Middays. Tim, how are you this morning?
Good, fellas. Sorry for my lateness. We just had a little longer training session than anticipated. So thanks for having me on.
Priorities, my friend. Priorities.
Yeah, they pay the bills.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations. It seems like after kind of but a slow start after the reboot with the game of the match down in Birmingham, you made some changes in personnel. You made some moves on the field with your starting 11. And it has paid off. You played a tremendous match last week. You've had a chance to win a few. You've had a couple draws. How do you feel overall about the performance of the team to this point since you restarted the season?
Yeah, I think I think we've gotten better every game from the Birmingham game all the way through St. Louis. Those ties we would have loved to have turned into wins, but points are points right now. We were getting closer and closer with every performance. Charlotte pulled us back at the 83rd minute, but it was really important that we held on and saw that game out on Saturday. That's a very good St. Louis team, having beaten Indy and Louisville prior to playing us. So really proud of the boys. I think we've gotten much fitter, which makes us be able to play much better. We're getting guys back off injury, so we're having more depth in our team, as you mentioned, with our lineup situation. So really pleased. I think we're definitely on an uptick.
What do you for your team and even the ones you've played? What is the level of play been back to where it was after all of the layoff and everything else?
Yeah, I think for long stretches it is, but I think the lack of match fitness for all of us come about the 70th minute. The game seems to turn to a bit more of a track meet, a bit more in transition, and that wouldn't happen if guys were 90 minutes fit. And it wouldn't happen if you didn't have 5 substitutes that can keep the pace of the game that high.
So you have some fans, albeit not the usual crowd you get for the matches in Memphis, but you do have up to 1,000 fans in the stands. So what is that like?
Well, that's great because we played in Atlanta with no fans, and it was really a surreal experience. I mean, having some fans, and our fans are great. They're loud. Even with 1,000, they definitely make their presence felt. So for us, it's more normalcy to have that. We had that in Birmingham as well, but to have our home crowd, for us, it's such an advantage. I mean, we love playing in AutoZone. The dimensions fit our team really well, and we love the crowd. I mean, the crowd is for our fans in Memphis have been fantastic. So for us, it's closer to being normal than we anticipated.
And that's now that you are actually playing games, other than the crowd, with everything else, does it kind of feel normal, or does it still feel very strange?
No, it's normal. It's really back to normal. Once the whistle blows, it's all about 3 points. It's all about performance. So, it was I think that game, Birmingham and Atlanta were a bit different. But since then, I think it's back to normal. Trainings are back to normal. Routines are back to normal. Having some fans is great. So, I think we're at that stage where we're all used to the testing policies. We're all used to the protocols that we have now. So it really is, I hate the phrase the new normal, but it is. It's normal for us now.
You've tightened up the back line. I know there were some issues in the first match in the reboot in Birmingham, and little communication issues out there as well. And I know Tim in the Nets having to really talk to his defenders to get into the right spots. And you've made some moves, and they seem to have paid off.
Yeah, I mean, getting Reese Buckmaster has certainly helped us, especially with Mark Birch having been sidelined for a bit. I think, again, and you guys can appreciate this from other sports as well, the cohesiveness of your team defensively, especially in soccer, is everything. So we knew that would be an issue coming back, getting guys back up to speed to playing with each other. I mean, we only had 12 days. It takes much longer than that, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we've now had that cohesiveness. We've been able to have training sessions where we can mix and match personnel, which helps us now in the game when we make critical decisions. Like we brought Liam Doyle on Saturday night as an extra defender. Well, we were able to do that because we rehearsed that. Like we know what that looks like now, where early on, we didn't have that ability. So, yeah, I think you're spot on. The communication, the cohesiveness, the understanding of each other has really jumped for us from Birmingham through St. Louis.
How much does it help in that to have a guy like Tim Howard back there?
Well, I mean, that's a really easy question. It helps us tremendous. I mean, Tim, I joke around with him all the time. He's got his PhD in soccer. Right? There's not a situation that he hasn't seen. So when he's organizing our team and moving the chess pieces around, it's spot on. It's what we need. And my biggest thing with the team is we can't always rely on Tim to do that. They need to make sure that they pick up the pieces when he's involved in other things. So yes, I mean, having Tim orchestrate things back there, it's literally having a doctor on the field who's orchestrating the team.
Tim, we all know what Brandon Allen brings to the team as a forward, but I have really been impressed with Keanu Marsh-Brown. Can you talk a little bit about him?
Yeah, Key's been great. We got Key because we love his ability from a wide position as a winger to get in the box and score goals. And he's been dynamic as all get out since he's gotten healthy and fit. I mean, he gets it. His head's down. He's going forward. He's going to put defenses on their heels. Like in football with a guy with a deep threat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything else opens up underneath, and that's what he provides us, so the ability to get behind. So now we can play underneath the other players, and then in and around the goal, he's ruthless. The goal he scored Saturday, I mean, if it wasn't a net, that thing would have ended up somewhere in Midtown. He really smacks it. So he's been a great addition. Kudos to Tim and James for grabbing him in the offseason.
Planning on being up there in the press box for the first time since the reboot myself this Saturday. I know the fans are looking forward to it. And again, nationally televised on ESPN Deportes as Memphis 901 FC will take on North Carolina FC. And remember, right now, Memphis 901 FC in second place in Group G. He's the head coach of Memphis 901 FC. He's Tim Mulqueen. Tim, thanks for the time. Appreciate it, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you Saturday night. Take care.
Thank you, Tim. Take care. All right, we'll take a timeout. When we come back, we begin Hour 2 with Tony Barnhart, Mr. College Football. This is Middays.
I'm here with outstanding team from Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway. They're online at lexusofmemphis.com. Gary, tell everyone how they can experience the Lexus of Memphis satisfaction.
Come in and be a part of our family at Lexus of Memphis. Experience the customer service that we provide to each guest like a member of our own family. If you're on the side of the road and you need us, we're there. If you need help with anything with your car, technology, Bluetooth, the app suite, we have a dedicated team to help you with this in your journey with your Lexus.
That's how they do it at Lexus of Memphis.
Hey folks, I'm Jarrett Carter. My family recently purchased East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station, and we're excited to offer the best selection of Big Green Egg and Traeger grills. And then don't forget about our Benjamin Moore Paint Studio and the Garden Center for flowers. Save 60% with our new Duracell key fob replacement program. We have a master locksmith service as well as glass cutting and screen repair. The East Memphis Ace Hardware, located at Quince and White Station behind Three Little Pigs.
Hi, I'm Greg Gaston for Window Genie. Window Genie is a trusted name in window cleaning, but they do so much more. They can take care of your home or business. They clean interior and exterior windows with a streak-free guarantee. They clean gutters, do pressure washing and house washing. They can also clean and seal concrete, brick, and natural stone. Locally owned and operated, insured and bonded. Get your free estimate today and ask for the Sports 56 discount. Call 901-424-4100 and leave the dirty work to Window Genie.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM. As well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, tell Google or Alexa to play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned to real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville, Germantown Commissary.
is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
Chad Gatlin is your Mid-South Farmers agent, and he's easy to find. Just go to MemphisFarmers.com to get a fast quote or call his office at 901-237-1176. And during this wild time we're all facing, know Chad has you covered. Whether you need to file a claim, get a quote, or just talk about what he can do to give you the absolute best coverage at the best price. Chad is a Memphis man and knows the area and that everyone is different, and he will work to make sure you have everything you need and nothing you don't. Get a fast quote at MemphisFarmers.com or call 901-235-1176. At First Bank Mortgage, their core purpose is to help you get to a better place. That better place may be a lower monthly payment, that vacation you thought was impossible, or getting into a home with a fenced backyard where your kids can play. To get into your better place, First Bank Mortgage makes decisions right here at home. Dedicated to helping you get to your better place, First Bank Mortgage. Call Daniel Mooney at 901-462-0145 today. NMLS 741022. Equal housing lender.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour is brought to you by the Window Genie. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 11:04 the time on this busy Thursday, August 6th, 2020. A little thing we call Sports 56 Middays. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Gabe Kuhn. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road. That is just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, FedEx. FedEx providing global access for small business. You can learn more at FedEx.com/e-commerce. Also, the second hour of the program is brought to you by the Window Genie. The Window Genie is a trusted name in window cleaning, but they do so much more. Kate Robertson is the person you need to call at 901-424-4100 when you do ask for the Sports 56 discount. We'll talk more about the Window Genie later on in the hour. Tony Barnhart joins us in just a second. Laird Veach, the University of Memphis Athletics Director, at 11:30. We are so busy. There is news broken today by 247 Sports and Brooks Hansen and the gang. Peter Parrish has transferred from LSU to the University of Memphis. So, 3 years of eligibility left. He's a 4-star dual-threat quarterback. But we'll hear from Peter Parrish later on in the show. But right now, we'll hear from Mr. College Football. He is Tony Barnhart, writer and broadcaster for the SEC Network. He's a columnist for TMG College Sports. You can follow him on Twitter at Mr. CFB. And Tony joins us now on Sports 56 Middays. Tony, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks much.
Never a dull moment in college football. My gosh, we can't go a day without 10 stories, let alone one story. I don't even know where to start, but I guess we'll start here, Tony. We were talking, Eli and myself, a little bit earlier about the ACC schedule. It's out. They're playing, as you know, the 10+1, and there's certain restrictions on that one non-conference opponent. The SEC goes the 10 route, the conference route, but no non-conference. I don't understand why these commissioners couldn't have communicated and said, you know what, let's play the traditional non-conference games of Florida, Florida State, Georgia, Georgia Tech. Let's keep it going with a +1 for both leagues. Why didn't that happen?
The reason it didn't happen for the SEC is very simple. The first decision that was made in that room was, when do we start? Okay, above, regardless, not the schedule, not who we're going to play, no. When do we start? And based on all the medical evidence, the research they had done, the SEC believed the best course of action was going to be a start as late as possible to get as much data as possible, and you'll have the students back on campus. You'll have watched the NFL, Major League Baseball for multiple cycles. That gives us the best possible time to start. Once that decision was made, and the decision was made to play 10 conference games, then you were left with were two choices. They backed up the SEC championship game, so your choices were 12 Saturdays to play 10 games or 12 Saturdays to play 11 games. And they simply did not feel they had to have more wiggle room in case something went wrong and you had to postpone games. You've got to have at least 2 open dates. You can't ask yourself to replace games, to redo it. So ultimately, that's what it came down to. As one AD told me, we just ran out of Saturdays.
When the ACC made their decision, were they believing at that time that the SEC was going to go +1, and that's why they did it?
I don't know that answer to that question. Because listen, I had been told the day before the ACC made up their mind and announced their schedule. I was told the day before by some people in the SEC, hey, keep your mind open for a conference-only schedule, because as we sit there and crunch these numbers, that may be our best option. We don't want to give up Florida State, Georgia State. We don't want to do that. I talked to the athletic directors of those schools, and they desperately wanted to do it. But at the end of the day, it was like the most important part of this entire discussion is not who we're going to play, not how many games we're going to play. It's when do we start to make the game as safe as possible. And again, once that decision was made, there wasn't any room for a non-conference game.
Tony, when is the revised schedule going to be released?
I'm hoping to see it today or tomorrow, but there's no guarantees, because what the SEC is trying to do is think about this. You're trying to add 2 conference games to everybody's schedule and make it at least appear that it's fair. Okay, it doesn't have to be fair. It has to appear that it's fair, and I think it's an impossible task. But because some people are going to be upset, and that is just the breaks of the game. But if we don't get it today or tomorrow, I'm hoping early. Now that the ACC schedule is out, the Big Ten schedule is out, the Pac-12 is out. The Big 12 is probably going to fill in their gaps today when all is said and done. So SEC will be the last one. So I got to believe it happens tomorrow or first of next week.
So you're saying fair, unlike the Big Ten, which their revised schedule is out, and it seemed like the teams that didn't already have Wisconsin on their schedule from the East that are capable of getting to the playoff weren't given Wisconsin as an additional team. They stayed away from the big power of the West.
There's a shocker. Well, see, but you got to balance. It is a very, very difficult balancing act.
I'm sure.
The schools that already have tough conference games on their schedule. All right, let's take Georgia in the SEC. You sort of gauge your schedule by who you have to play in the other division. Well, Georgia this year in the other division, Georgia plays Auburn and Alabama. All right, so you're not going to add LSU and Texas A&M to Georgia's schedule. You're not going to do that. You're going to try to find a way to balance it out, and it is really an impossible task. A guy wrote me and says, "So, how's the SEC going to make this fair?" And I was so tempted to write him back, "Fair?" Question mark. What has this got to do with being fair? And what is fair? So it's going to happen. A lot of people are going to be upset, and then we're going to go, hopefully in a month or two, going to play ball.
Well, and that's the thing, because it's year in and year out. I mean, if you're looking for fairness, anytime you're not playing everybody in the conference, there's going to be some unfairness to it when certain teams have to, especially the SEC, look like LSU and Florida have to play every single year as crossovers. That's a little different than having to play, Vanderbilt every year in your crossover game.
That's right. Again, scheduling by its very, very nature is inherently unfair. If everybody doesn't play everybody, it is inherently unfair. And listen, when these schedules come out, you guys are going to have plenty to talk about for at least 3 or 4 weeks.
I'm sure.
Okay, and then you'll hopefully turn your attention to the first game. These are the things that are going. It is going to happen. The schedule is going to happen, and people are going to be upset.
Well, I've said it a million times on the show. All bets are off this year. All bets are off in every sport, profession, right? Professional, collegiate. It doesn't matter. You can't argue about, they got an advantage or they're not playing this team. We're lucky, Tony, that it looks like they're going to play, for goodness sakes.
Yeah. Competitive advantage and competitive disadvantage. I can't tell you how far down the list that is of things that we're going to have to care about. That's going to be way down the list.
No question. Do you think the decision, and you just explained it eloquently about the SEC and the time is why they're doing what they're doing, but was there any thought given to, well, if we start later in the season, maybe we'll start to get some really good numbers on the battle against COVID-19 and the chance to have maybe a higher percentage of fans in the stadium, which helps with the revenue. Of course, it depends on each state. But was there any thought given to that?
Of course. As you go late, the hope is that as you go later into the fall, if there's going to be a second wave, that comes later. Listen, right now the numbers are not. They were hoping that the numbers would be trending down at this point. Well, they're not trending down; they're trending up. So the hope is that if you wait until the 26th, by then the numbers will be trending down. Absolutely, that was part of the discussion.
Tony, the coaches poll has come out. Have you had a chance to look at the coaches poll?
I have not. I have been handling a million different things today.
Okay, they have LSU at 5, and obviously coming off the national championship type season, or the season they had last year, you're going to have to put them up there, and they're always going to be that talented. But just your opinion, do you think LSU is still a top 5 caliber team this year?
No, I think they're very, very talented. They got to prove they're a top 5 team. Now they've always had players. They've always had a lot of players, and guess what? They got a lot of players this year. But are they better than Alabama? Nope. I don't think so. Can LSU play their way into being a top 5 team? You better believe it. How does Miles Brennan, what kind of consistent play does he give them at quarterback? The running game, the defense. You got a new offensive coordinator, just a lot of questions around them. They're definitely a top 10 team. I can tell you that. But they're going to have to play in my mind, they got to play their way into being a top 10 team, a top 5 team.
Yeah. Obviously, with the later start, that means a later start to camp, so practices are still a couple of weeks away. But with that said, one of the storylines, as you know, Tony, is the Georgia starting quarterback battle. Who do you think will end up being the starter?
Well, I think right now, you would say Jamie Newman, based on his experience and the fact that he's been on campus for quite a while. Didn't have spring practice, but we'll see. That's one of the great storylines. How does JT Daniels? How does he look when he gets out there? Georgia's got a bunch of young receivers they need to work on, so I think it makes for a fun story. At first blush, if I had to pick a guy, it would be Jamie Newman because he's played more and he's been on campus more.
Do you like them over Florida still in the East?
I still do, but Florida has closed the gap. Now Georgia will be really, really, really good on defense. And offensively, they got to replace 2 first-round draft choices. They've got plenty of running backs. They always do. The quarterback we talked about and the receivers is an issue. So a lot of questions on offense. Question is, when do they play Alabama? They're scheduled to play them on the 19th. Obviously, that's not going to happen. Do they play on the 26th? Or does Georgia get to play them later because of the shakeup in the schedule?
Right.
I still think Georgia's the best team in the East, but the Gators are not far behind.
Tony Barnhart joining us from the SEC Network. You can follow him on Twitter at Mr. CFB, Mr. College Football, joining us here on the program. All right, so let me ask you this. With the financial situation that athletic departments are in, do you believe that it's more likely that coaches that are on the hot seat keep their job even with a struggle this year because of the fact they don't want to be paying another coach to bring in another coach and still pay another coach who's on his way out?
Unless you break the law, you're not going to get fired. I'm just telling you.
Yeah,
I believe that too.
Unless you break the law or cheat or do something like that, you're not going to get fired. First of all, you don't have the money
Right.
And secondly, it makes no sense given everything that's happened. So I think the coaches get a bye this year.
How long does that last? Is that a 1 year reprieve?
It'll last about 3 months after the season's over. So. No, I'm kidding. No. No. The hope is that we come back to normal, which is being insane when it comes to hiring and firing coaches. Hopefully, this will only be a 1 year reprieve.
So, Tony, the situation in the Pac-12 with the United players, and now we've heard the group from the Big Ten. It'll probably happen with at least the power conferences.
Yep.
What do you think comes of it, especially the one in the Pac-12 where it seems like some of those things are just not going to happen, and there's the threat of not practicing and not playing?
Well, it's like any other negotiation. You've got to go down the list. Okay, all right. Anything that has anything to do with health and safety is going to be done. Okay, there's not going to be any pushback. Now they want health insurance 6 years after they leave. That number could get negotiated down. But anything to do with health and well-being. Now, when the athletes start talking about we want 50% of the revenues given to us, yes, give it to us. That's not going to happen because I can take you down a bunch of legal rabbit holes. The little issue called Title IX. And so now, are there ways to open up the tap to give more money to the players or allow them to make more money? Yeah, the name, image, and likeness thing is going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, it is going to happen. The only question is how much are they going to let the players go? How much are they going to let them do? So the point is like anything else, you got to sit down, you got to meet. Okay, let's go down this list. The social justice stuff, that's going to be done every single day, and that is not going to be an issue. So really, the only issue that I see, based on what the players are saying, is that they're going to be like the NFL Players Association and get 50% of the revenue. That's not going to happen, but there are going to be ways to get more resources and more money to them.
Tony, going back to the SEC, we talked about the East. If Alabama doesn't win the West, who does?
LSU or Texas A&M. LSU puts it all together. Texas A&M with a senior quarterback in Kellen Mond is ready to have a good year. Plus Texas A&M. Now we'll see what happens to the back end of Texas A&M schedule. Before this, their schedule was looking a lot better because Georgia and Clemson rotated off, and Vanderbilt and Abilene Christian rotated on. I'm not real smart, but I think that's an upgrade for Texas A&M. Now let's see who the SEC adds to that. But I think Texas A&M's got a chance to have a pretty good year. But yeah, if it's not Alabama, it's LSU or Texas A&M. I think Auburn will be a good team, but I'm not sure they're better. We'll see when they play Texas A&M. But off the top of my head, those would be the two teams that go after. And plus Alabama's got to recover from that disastrous 11-2 season they had last year.
What happened?
I don't know. I don't know what's happening over there. It's just, they only won 11 games. My goodness.
Of the three new coaches in the West at Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Arkansas, who gets it going the quickest as far as being competitive?
Oh, I like Mike Leach because he's got Costello coming in from Stanford, a proven quarterback, and we know what Mike Leach can do with quarterbacks. And so I think first of all, I just want to go to the press conferences every week with Lane Kiffin and Mike Leach. Just figure out a way to get me. I'm sure I'll end up watching it on Zoom or something like that. But I just don't want to miss a press conference because Mike Leach's press conference are absolutely gold. They are reporters gold, and you don't want to miss that. So.
Yeah, we thought it was good with Coach O, but man, now you get Mike Leach. I think you're absolutely right. It's must-watch video if you get to see it. He is Tony Barnhart. He's the writer and broadcaster for the SEC Network, also columnist for TMG College Sports. You know him as Mr. College Football. You can follow him on Twitter at Mr. CFB. Hey, Tony, always a pleasure. Stay well, and I'm sure we'll talk to you down the road. Appreciate it.
Okay. All right, guys.
Take care. Tony Barnhart. Okay, so the coaches poll, as you alluded to, is out. The Amway coaches poll. Memphis not in the top 25. Memphis' others receiving votes, and Chris Vanini, our buddy from The Athletic, who comes on often, said he is really surprised that Memphis is not in the top 25. UCF is at number 21, and Cincinnati is at number 22.
Yeah, Memphis would be number 30 as you go out through the others receiving votes. Tennessee is tops among the others receiving votes. Actually, they're tied with Boise State for the 26th spot. Memphis is right behind Kentucky, just ahead of Baylor as far as votes are concerned. So yeah, I was wondering. I thought they would sneak into the top 25. Certainly, if you would have told me there were going to be two American Athletic Conference teams in there, I would have thought Memphis would have been one of the two. I'm a little surprised that Cincinnati's in there and Memphis is not.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised as well, especially when you look at what's coming back for Memphis, especially on offense. The coaches poll has Clemson 1, Ohio State 2, then Alabama, Georgia, LSU. Oklahoma 6, Penn State 7, Florida 8, Oregon 9, Notre Dame, a member of the ACC this year, at number 10. Then you got Auburn, Wisconsin, Texas A&M, Texas, and Michigan. That's your top 15. Oklahoma State, USC, big year for Clay Helton, but again, as Tony said, probably all coaches with a reprieve this year. Minnesota 18, North Carolina 19, Utah at 20. And then, as we mentioned, UCF 21, Cincinnati 22, Iowa, Virginia Tech, and Justin Fuente at number 24, and then Iowa State at number 25. This was a tweet from Dr. M. David Rudd, the president of the University of Memphis. Longtime University of Memphis supporter Mike Bruns challenges alumni and friends to join him in aiding students with a $1 million scholarship matching fund. How about that? Always nice to have some of your alum and your supporters really dig down deep to help, especially during hard times financially for universities across the country. And speaking of that, the athletics director at the University of Memphis, he is Laird Beach. He will join us in just a few moments. Window Genie is our second-hour sponsor of Sports 56 Middays, locally owned and operated by lifelong Memphian Kate Robertson. Window Genie can take care of your home or your business. They clean interior and exterior windows, and they have a streak-free guarantee. They clean gutters. They do pressure washing and house washing. They did some pressure washing on my patio. We've now had it screened in. It just looks fabulous, so we appreciate Window Genie for coming by and doing what they did. Pressure washing can really make your home shine. They clean and seal concrete, brick, and natural stone. They also do window tinting, and during the holidays, they really, this is spectacular. They'll do holiday lighting. So what they do is they put it all up for you and take it all down for you, because that could be a pain in the butt. They are insured, bonded, a member of the Better Business Bureau, uniformed professional workers, wrapped vehicles, and they are COVID-19 conscious, masks at the door, shoe covers when they enter your home. So make a loved one happy, whether it's your wife, whether it's your husband, whether it's your mom, whatever you want to do. Nice little thought of being able to come home to just cleaned windows, or maybe you've had the power washing done on your patio, on the pavement, on the concrete, on your driveway, right? It looks spectacular, and they'll be very, very happy. So you can call them 7 days a week to schedule an appointment or get a free estimate. Call Kate at 901-424-4100. And when you talk to her, mention you heard it here on Sports 56. You'll get the Sports 56 discount, 15% off window cleaning or pressure washing. Let the power of the Genie work for you. WindowGenie.com online, or call them at 901-424-4100. Again, ask Kate for the Sports 56 discount.
Bit of one note on scheduling for college football. We talk about Navy losing the Notre Dame game. They have picked up BYU to replace Notre Dame on their schedule. They'll play BYU in prime time on Labor Day night.
Yeah, it makes sense because BYU is an independent, also needing some opponents. Laird Beach is next. This is Middays.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. We are real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM. As well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, tell Google or Alexa to play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned to real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles When smiles are hard to get, you'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Limb Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC accredited facility, and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Limb Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselimbembrace.com.
Dedicated our life to yours. Wolf Chase Limb and Brace.
I'm here with outstanding team from Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway. They're online at lexusofmemphis.com. Gary, tell everyone how they can experience the Lexus of Memphis satisfaction.
Come in and be a part of our family at Lexus of Memphis. Experience the customer service that we provide to each guest like a member of our own family. If you're on the side of the road and you need us, we're there. If you need help with anything with your car, technology, Bluetooth, the app suite, we have a dedicated team to help you with this in your journey with your Lexus.
That's how they do it at Lexus of Memphis.
Summertime and the living is easy. No more cutting or paying utilities. Literally, you guys, Town Village Audubon Park, nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $24.50. The Gourmet Chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, monthly coffee club, theme dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour is brought to you by the Window Genie. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
As we mentioned at the start of the show, the University of Memphis Athletics Department has released details of their Keep Memphis Roaring campaign. We will talk to AD Laird Beach in just a second about that. Also, the news of Memphis landing a 4-star dual-threat quarterback in Peter Parrish, who announced he is transferring from LSU to Memphis. So more good news for the coaching staff. They've got their Zoom meetings going on right now. Practice begins tomorrow, and we now know the season, at least knock on wood right now, will begin September 5th against Arkansas State. So finally, we're getting some positive news, and we are very excited to bring Laird Beach on, the AD at the University of Memphis. You can follow him on Twitter at Laird Beach, and he joins us now on Sports 56 Middays. Laird, I hope you and the family are doing well. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. We're doing just fine. Just like everybody out there, we're in a unique time, but everybody's healthy and well. I appreciate that.
Unique to say the least, but like I said, we're finally starting to get some good news with directions from the conference leader, Mike Oresco, on what the plans are, and the plan is to play the full slate of games. Of course, right now you have the 11 because of the Purdue game in the Big Ten playing conference only, but September 5th is the target date against Arkansas State, and with camp opening up tomorrow, it's right around the corner, and so obviously fans are curious to know what's going on. Will we be able to go to the games, and what happens if we're not? And so that, therefore, you have put together a very comprehensive plan to keep Memphis roaring campaign. So let's talk about some, we'll get the specifics in a second, but in general terms, what is this, Laird?
Yeah, well, first of all, I appreciate it, and I appreciate the time to try to help get the message out here. And as you mentioned, we started a campaign, Keep Memphis Roaring, and that's really designed to essentially do 2 things. One, let our fans know kind of where things stand and give them options to select. And hopefully they select what I'll get to in a little bit is option 1, and that'll help really mitigate the financial impacts that we're facing with this pandemic, which are significant. So there'll be decisions that folks will make about their investment in Memphis football. They'll
as you have probably read and heard, there's really two scenarios right now. We're functioning under a 12-foot socially distanced seating model as of right now. That is what we project, but there is a chance that could possibly go down to 6 foot. So we need to be prepared for that as well. And essentially what that means is, the distance between groups that are seated in the Liberty Bowl. So folks will get an email link to a Google document that'll walk them through all that. But in the end, their decisions are going to have a really significant impact on on the people and programs in our department.
You mentioned the 12-foot, 6-foot, the different options, and yes, I mean, obviously for you guys, you would love to be able to keep all that money coming in because it's going to be a shortfall regardless. But you've given everybody basically 3 different options that they can choose from. So kind of explain briefly what the options are.
Yeah, so first of all, the 3 real options really fall under the 12-foot scenario where we're at now, and in that position, our seating is going to be extremely limited. So really to the point where we cannot accommodate season ticket holders like we had hoped, like our priorities always been. So we're asking folks to consider option 1, which is donating their tickets and parking and Tiger Scholarship Fund contributions to the department. And, in return, we're trying to provide some incentives for that. They get then the folks that donate are the only ones that'll have access to single game tickets in the Liberty Bowl in that 12-foot scenario. And we're gonna at least get them in one game, for single game tickets. If we can do more, we will. But we're gonna do everything we can to get them single game tickets for one game. And then on top of that, we will freeze the price of their season ticket for next year if they're willing to do that. And next year we'll have 7 games, and one of those is against Mississippi State. So we're going to do 4 times the Tiger Scholarship Fund points. We've got a little Cotton Bowl mini helmet we're going to give them. We're going to try to roll out all the stops to encourage people to consider donating those dollars. If they choose not to, they can credit those dollars to next year towards and we'll give them actually 110% value of their total towards tickets next year. So if they spent $1,000 on tickets this year, and next year they'd get $1,100 worth of credit towards their tickets next year. Or of course they can ask for a refund, and they just need to call our ticket office so we can walk them through that and make sure they understand the impacts of it.
As you mentioned,
so that's the 12-foot scenario,
right? And you mentioned the option 1, which is the preferred option. A portion of your donation may be tax deductible, so you want to make sure you check with your tax professional about that possibility. So now the 6 foot, if that changes, how does that change the options?
Well, if that changes, if we're fortunate for that to happen, we could essentially then accommodate all of the season ticket holders that have purchased tickets to this point and purchased by our deadline. And then at that point, that it's really just are they willing, are they open to being reseated? Because we would still have to spread groups apart by 6 feet, and because of that, nearly everyone would have to be reseated, and they'd have to be okay with, with that, the thought of getting seats, and one of, a few folks, relatively speaking, in the community that get those seats, but they would be in a different location. So are they okay with that? If they are, great. If not, then they could essentially then have the same options that were outlined in the 12-foot scenario.
What happens if it switches in the middle of the season from 12 foot to 6 feet?
That is a possibility and something we have discussed. We have not finalized our plan there. However, I can tell you. So if the folks that under the 12-foot scenario, the folks that donate and are part of that, they're the first ones we're going to go back to then to try to take care of and accommodate additional tickets. If things come back later and we're free up a little more. So. We obviously can take this thing only almost one day at a time. That's kind of the world we're living in. And right now, that's the thought. Beyond that, it would really depend on what the parameters became at that time.
University of Memphis Athletics Director Laird Veach joining us on the program. You can follow him on Twitter at Laird Veach. Okay, so when do the folks have to make a decision by, and how do they go ahead doing this, choosing the option? What I assume everything's online, but when's the deadline?
Yeah, so the deadline will be August 19th. So Wednesday, August 19th. So basically gives them a couple weeks to make the decision and gives us a couple weeks to then get everything done and turn back around and managed. So pretty quick turnaround on both sides, but both sides. But hopefully that's enough time for really people to ask their questions, think about it, and work things through. And yeah, we've tried to make a rather complicated situation as simple as we possibly can by creating a Google document. So if people go to keepmemphisroaring.com, or they can click on the link that's provided to them over email, and that Google document will just walk them right through the options.
So, Laird, when you're talking about the distancing between groups, what is the limit on the size of a group, or what is how are groups determined?
Yeah, I mean it's really based on a count and up to 8. If there's a family that has 8 or a household, we could accommodate up to 8. So it could be groups of 6 or 4 or even 2, and that's part of the reason why we really need to know the answers to all this, because it's a pretty challenging puzzle to put together, and the number of folks that opt in, if it were the 6-foot scenario, in particular, would determine how many seats we can actually get in the venue in the end.
I'm sure you guys are in constant consultation with maybe the mayor's office, certainly the Shelby County Health Department, Liberty Bowl officials. What is the conversation about the possibility of it changing to 6 feet? What will it take for that to happen?
Yeah, that's difficult to say, and frankly, it's not our decision. That's up to the medical authorities, and I think there's different factors that could play into that. I do think we need to assume that we're in the 12-foot scenario. That's where we stand today, and I think that's the most likely, unfortunately. So things would have to change, I'm sure, with the virus. But in the end, that's not a call I will make. We'll just stay open to it, and we're creating the possibility to adjust later if we're fortunate enough for that to happen. Only because if we didn't do that now, if we didn't find out now what people were willing to do, we may not have an opportunity to really turn it around fast enough later. But ultimately the virus is going to determine how that plays out.
What, if anything, and how or when will a decision be made as far as tailgating and Tiger Lane and how things there will be handled?
Yeah, that's another thing we've been working through. We don't have all the answers yet, so therefore we're going to have to ask folks to be patient with that, and we are going to follow up with them. We are, I'd say, pretty confident at this point that in any scenario, if there's a fan that has had parking in the past and they have a ticket to the game under one of these scenarios, we're pretty confident we can provide parking. Now, beyond that, in terms of what's allowed from a tailgate standpoint or exactly how that parking is going to work out, we're still working through some questions. We're not too far away, but we don't want to get out ahead of ourselves. And frankly, part of it is we got to focus on this right now. And it's kind of like the end game in the season. One game at a time. This is our game now. We've done a lot of preseason work on parking and operations and a lot of other things, but right now we need to focus on this, handle it really well, and then just ask our folks to trust us and be patient, and we will definitely provide all those answers here in the coming weeks.
And I'm assuming, unless things change between now and that first game, folks will be required to wear masks in the stadium?
Correct. Yeah. I don't think that under any scenario that they would not be required to wear masks. I mean, masks are, a must and something, we of course encourage everyone out there to continue to do. I think, the more people wear masks and continue to more and more handle this the right way, the better things get with the virus, and the more likely we are to have, sporting events and more fans in the stands, et cetera.
Laird, you outlined the 3 options for the people. How about if somebody wants to donate, which is option 1, which is the preferable one for the school and obviously for the financial situation with the athletic department. But how about if they want to say, let's, donate 75% of the money? They just don't want to donate it all, but they want to donate some. How do they do that?
Well, first of all, we will always accept donations at any level.
I figured that. Right.
And we'll figure out how to make that happen, and in the easiest way possible. We want to make it real easy for people to support us. If they can go to Keep Memphis Roaring website as well, and there's a link where they can just donate. Right, that's an option. But if they have specifics like that, our Tiger Scholarship Fund staff, our ticket office staff, is obviously very teed up and ready for phone calls, and can call people back and walk them through any scenario to help that make that as easy as possible.
Are you definitely staying with just the 11 games? Did you look at adding a 12th? What was the situation there with the Purdue game off the schedule?
Yeah, we are definitely staying with 11 games, we took a lot of phone calls, had conversations, thought about it. And I will tell you, in some ways, the competitor in you, it gets tempting to think about those things. But in the end, it's just we felt like it was the responsible thing to do, and also provides us a little more flexibility to just to keep that open. Which is a strange thing. I don't know if I'd ever would have imagined being in that spot, but in the end, it was just the right thing to do for our program. Having that extra week. Getting through that first game and being able to kind of assess things and see how things go. We're just at a time where we need that type of flexibility. It was in the end, it was just the right thing.
Tennessee Martin's on the schedule. They play in the OVC. I don't know if the OVC has announced anything yet. Have you spoken to any of maybe their commissioner about what their game plan is for football this fall?
I have not, although I actually know their athletic director, Kurt McGuffin. He's coincidentally he was a K-Stater as well. So we have some history, and we've kept in touch throughout this. I have not heard exactly where they are going yet. As of now, I have shared with them that as far as we're concerned, our game is on, and of course he and others have been anxious about those kind of decisions. So he was happy to hear that. But no, I have not heard where they stand.
It's the Keep Memphis Roaring campaign, and these guys have done an awful lot of work to put this together over at the University of Memphis. They've given you options for all you season ticket holders out there. Check it out and try to help out as much as you can in these hard times here for athletic departments across the country. But football is going to be played, knock on wood, and we're looking forward to Game 1 on September 5th against Arkansas State. He's the athletics director at the University of Memphis. He is Laird Veach. You can follow him on Twitter at Laird Veach. Hey, Laird, as always, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Keep Memphis roaring.
Stay well. There you go. Again, it's I'm sorry. Go ahead, Eli.
And I give for folks the best thing to do if you are confused at all, just go to the website. They couldn't have it. They have frequently asked questions section on there. They got everything you possibly need to explain it to you on there and lay it out as simply as they possibly can.
Exactly. Look, I don't know people's financial situations, and it's a lot to ask to say, hey, listen, just keep the money, even though we're not going to get anything in return, except for maybe 1 or 2 game access, and then the other things that Laird talked about. But it's all about being a Memphis fan, and if you can afford it, it's a donation. You're basically donating in a very unusual roundabout way, but also possibly some of it being tax deductible will help. It's not easy to ask people to just give something and not get what they expected in return. But, the hope is that they'll be able to come out of this thing okay, because financially right now is just a hardship for everybody. But there you go. That's the campaign, and those are your options. We appreciate Laird Veach joining us on the program. When we come back, we will give you an update from the PGA Championship, which is underway from TPC Harding Park in San Francisco. And we will hear from the newest member of the Memphis Tigers. If you haven't heard, Peter Parrish, a quarterback, 4-star quarterback, has transferred from LSU, and he announced that earlier today. We got some sound from Peter. We'll hear from him at 12:05. It's our 5 favorite songs, so make sure you text in with your lists at 67129. Or if you're watching us live, you can message us with those lists at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. Also have our NFL 3-for-all still to come as well. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56. That's AM 560, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM.
Check out Dave Voloshin and Brett Norsworthy with Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekdays from 3 to 6 on Sports 56, 96.1 FM and 87.7 FM.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Finding the next job is a big job, and that part of what you do is a little tough right now. Because of that, Lowe's for Pros is here to help. Get $400 in leads on us with a free 1-year subscription from Home Advisor to connect to jobs that make sense for you. Sign up at lowesforpros.com/pro-loyalty to get started. Just one more reason why Lowe's is the new home for pros. Now let's get to work. Subscription and $400 lead credit subject to Home Advisor's approval and terms. Valid for new Home Advisor customers only. Lowe's loyalty required. More terms apply. Valid through 9/9 U.S. only.
Napa know-how.
This month, Napa's got all kinds of motor oil deals that can save you some serious cash. Like a 5-quart jug of Napa full synthetic motor oil for just $16.49. With savings like that, you may start feeling like a VIP. But don't let it go to your head. These oil deals are for everyone. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General States pricing. Sales prices not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer ends 8/31/20.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Looking for a great place to deposit your money? Try First Bank. Competitive CD rates, a money market that moves with Wall Street prime and interest-bearing checking account options. Not to mention their friendly bankers who make decisions locally. To find out more, stop by one of First Bank's 3 local branches. 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper. 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase. And 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or visit firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour is brought to you by the Window Genie. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Quick start for Tiger Woods at the PGA Championship. He is 2 under through 4. I don't know what the conditions are like, Eli, but they must be advantageous because scores are pretty decent. Jason Day, 2 under through 8. Zach Johnson's 2 under through 6. Dustin Johnson, 2 under through 5. And our very own Sean McKeel is 1 under through 5 holes early in round 1.
1 under through 6 now. Big group, 1 under. There's a massive group at 1 under. There's 20 guys, I think, at 1 under par right now. So Sean McKeel is currently beating Rory McIlroy by 2 shots.
As we expected.
Beating Jordan Spieth by 3.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, who else is he beating? Former the British Open champion from last year, Shane Lowry, by 2 strokes.
Good start.
Good start. Justin Thomas is at even par right now. But still very early on. And Scotty Scheffler, the Texas product, is now we got 2 guys at the top. Alexander Noren and Scotty Scheffler, both at 3 under par now.
I meant to pick both of those guys
Noren,
yesterday.
3 under through 5. Scheffler, who was part of the first group out, is 3 under through 10.
Ryan Silverfield, as I mentioned, along with coaches Mike McIntyre, the defensive coordinator, Kevin Johns, the offensive coordinator, and special teams coach Pete Lembo, all doing the Zoom meetings for the University of Memphis with football camp opening up tomorrow. Ryan Silverfield saying we've got a lot of weapons. We love our roster. We're really, really anxious and excited to get on the field and kick off this 2020 football season. Remember, this is his first full season. He took over Cotton Bowl, but this is his first full season at the helm as head coach. He also said on the subject of players opting out, if anyone feels uncomfortable, we need to be cognizant of that. If a young man wants to make that decision, I fully support it. No questions asked. As I mentioned earlier, Peter Parrish announcing today that the LSU transfer, 4-star quarterback, 6'1", 198-pounder with 3 years of eligibility from Phoenix City, Alabama, is transferring to the University of Memphis. We got some sound thanks to our friends over at 247 Sports, Brooks Hansen, Christian Fowler, Kenny Stubblefield. And we're going to hear from the newest member of the Tigers. This is Peter Parrish on why he committed to Memphis.
I've been following the program since I was in high school, really, and they're a great program. They have a great offensive team. I know Brady White put up like 4,000 yards last year, and not only that, but the coaching staff and the players, they really made me feel like home, and they made me feel like I was a part of the team. Already, not even visiting the campus yet or anything like that. They made me feel like I was a part of the team, and that's all I could ask for, really.
Hopefully it'll come a time, Eli, when a 4-star, 5-star quarterback just looks at Memphis on the surface and says, man, they play a fun offense. I want to go there. But it's normally an interesting story how Memphis lands a quarterback. Brady White, of course, a transfer. How they were able to get Paxton Lynch. Riley Ferguson was at Tennessee originally. So it usually is something else that happened at another place that they're able to get him, and that's the situation here for Peter Parrish from LSU.
Yeah, he was suspended for violation of team rules, decides to transfer, and you could understand where a quarterback, if you have paid attention at all to the Memphis program, granted it is a new head coach now, but a guy who was involved here already with the offense, and you look at, as he said, what Brady White, the numbers he's put up, you go, that's probably a pretty good system for a quarterback. So I wouldn't mind going and slinging the ball around in that system for a while. So, and it's, you look at what Memphis has done in this current recruiting class in the state of Louisiana, now going and getting a transfer from LSU. They are very big in the state of Louisiana right now.
Yeah, they've done a great job in being able
Which is a good state to go down and get people out of.
Yes, you beat me to it. We always talk about the advantages that LSU has because of so much talent in Louisiana, and they get the cream of the crop, and then whatever falls through the cracks go other places. But again, this is the guy who was with LSU and transferred. Here is Peter Parrish now on what type of player he is.
I'm a winner. Like I said, I didn't really get a lot of snaps back at LSU, but in high school I only lost one game my entire career, and I'm a winner. I'm not gonna quit on anyone. I'm a team player, and I feel like I'm a leader. You're gonna get somebody that's dedicated to the game, and it's gonna give their 110% every rep, every play.
Of course, he was redshirted last year. With the redshirt rule, you could play up to 4 games, but he did not play. A little bit tough when you have Joe Burrow as your quarterback and Miles Brennan as a backup and some others with LSU. They're stacked, as they always are. But here's a kid who's a multi-talented quarterback, multi-dimensional, so a guy who can tuck and run and brings you that added dimension along with a very strong arm.
Yeah, and then at least I haven't seen, and I don't know if it ever came out like exactly what the team rules were that he violated and to get his suspension there. But hopefully, something he's learned from, and will move forward and have no issues here.
Yeah, look, if he's good enough for Ryan Silverfield and that staff to want to bring on, I would imagine that they talked it all through. They got all the details. They liked the answers he gave, because they're not going to bring on a problem child. You hope anyway. I know when you get to the schools that are in the group of 5 or the autonomy 5, and again, you're not going to always be able to land the 5 stars and the 4 stars. It's kind of once in a blue moon that happens, and especially at that position. So sometimes you're willing to take more chances than other schools are. But again, I would imagine that Ryan Silverfield is not bringing on anybody that has some issues that are very serious and ongoing and haven't been nipped in the bud. So congratulations to Memphis, and again, thanks to the guys at 247 for the sound from Memphis Tigers transfer quarterback Peter Parrish. Coming up in hour number 3, we're going to have a little fun with our 5 favorite songs. We'll kick off the hour with that. Again, the subject today is light. The topic, light. Needs to be in the title of your song. If you haven't texted in your list, what the heck are you waiting for? 67129 via the First Bank text line. If you're watching us live, you can message us with the lists at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Instagram. All different ways to converse with us. And then later in the third hour, it'll be our NFL 3 for All segment. Today, we'll take a look at the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Mississippi Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers. So join Mid-South Ag Equipment and the Mississippi Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Call Mid-South Ag at 662-890-3141 to get your discount today.
Oh, whale! Guys, whale! Wow, whale.
Oh, that's a big whale. Okay. Whale. Oh, no, whale!
The tides can turn quick on the water. Progressive's boat insurance has you covered. Get a quote today in as little as 3 minutes at Progressive.com.
Well, at least it wasn't a shark, am I right?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hey, it's me, your cousin, from Boston. I'm on the radio doing ads for Sam Adams. Now I'll be known as the Sam Adams guy instead of the dude who fell in the quarry. Sam Adams Boston Lager is crisp and refreshing, which is why I bring a six-pack wherever I go, except the movies anymore. Sam Adams, from Boston with love. Here's the legal part. Watch how fast I can read. The Boston Beer Company, Boston, Mass. Drink responsibly. Now, is that 30 seconds? Are we even close?
Hey folks, I'm Jarrett Carter. My family recently purchased East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station, and we're excited to offer the best selection of Big Green Egg and Traeger grills. And then don't forget about our Benjamin Moore Paint Studio and the Garden Center for flowers. Save 60% with our new Duracell key fob replacement program. We have a master locksmith service as well as glass cutting and screen repair. The East Memphis Ace Hardware, located at Quince and White Station behind Three Little Pigs.
Looking for a great place to deposit your money? Try First Bank. Competitive CD rates, a money market that moves with Wall Street prime and interest-bearing checking account options. Not to mention their friendly bankers who make decisions locally. To find out more, stop by one of First Bank's 3 local branches. 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper. 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase. And 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or visit firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM. As well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, tell Google or Alexa to play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned to real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quincy White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Man, we have one more hour. Feels like we've been on the air for 5 hours. So much stuff going on. And that's a good thing for us. It's a good thing for you that listen to the show. We appreciate it. Hour number 3 here on Sports 56 Middays, the Thursday, August 6th, 2020 edition of the program. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Gabe Kuhn. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road. That is just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, FedEx. Streamline your e-commerce business so you can focus on growing sales and strengthening customer relationships. Learn more at fedex.com/e-commerce. And again, thank you to all the folks at FedEx for all they're doing in this battle against COVID-19, this unfortunately continuing battle. They are delivering the test kits, the medical supplies, where they are needed most. And the third hour of the program is also brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware. You talk about convenience and competitive prices. You just zip on in, zip on out, as opposed to dealing with the big box stores and the people that go there, which is just sometimes lines and lines and lines of people. Well, at East Memphis Ace Hardware, you just talk to one of the experts. They will answer your questions and point you in the right direction. AceHardware.com online for free shipping. Can't beat free. Call them at 901-683-8688. Open Monday through Saturday, 8 to 7, Sunday, 10 to 4. Located at 5143 Quince Road, right next door to Billy Hardwick's All-Star Lanes. It's East Memphis Ace Hardware.
Zach Johnson has made 3 straight birdies. He is out 4 under par. He is the early leader now by himself.
It feels like Zach Johnson hasn't even played since the reboot. Like I haven't seen his name anywhere. The old wily veteran, Zach Johnson. I see you have a little hardware behind you now.
Yeah. I didn't like the tree growing on my head, so I changed it.
Is that the Wanamaker?
Yes.
The Wanamaker Trophy, which, of course, Sean McKeel, Memphis' very own, owns one. And where does he stand now with the latest update on the PGA Championship? He was 1 under through 6, I believe, at last check.
Hold on here. I got to pull up the leaderboard again. Dun, dun, dun.
He played last week at the Barracuda, which was the, I guess, what do you call it, the secondary PGA Tour event while the WGC was going on. He didn't make the cut. That was the Stableford scoring system that they used in that event.
Let's see. On the last update here, he's still 1 under through 6. But this isn't fully updated here, this leaderboard, so I don't know. But he's at 1 under through 6 as of the last update on this, because this doesn't have Zach Johnson's last birdie on it.
All right, time now for our 5 favorite songs. We do this each and every day. We give you a topic. We ask you to put together your list of 5 favorite songs with the topic in the title. The topic today is light, so the word light needs to be in the title of your songs. You can go ahead and hit us up via the First Bank text line at 67129 with your lists, or watch us live and message us at Sports 56 WHBQ with your lists on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. Mr. Gabe Kuhn, you're leading us off today.
All right. I guess Laddie's going to slap us if we don't play this jingle, man.
Gosh,
it's too late. It's too late. It's too late. It is too late. Look, I'm telling you with certainty, it is too late.
Wait, why is it too late?
Because I don't have it.
Can you take a second. Talk amongst yourself. I'll give you a topic.
What?
Stone Mountain. It's neither a stone nor a mountain. No, I'm kidding. You can't find it? You can't find it?
No, I mean, I can find it. That's not the problem here.
I want to play this. He went ahead and he did this. I promised yesterday to the folks out there, our great listening audience, that we have an open now for 5 favorite songs. I got to get used to it. We've done this for over 2 months. without an open. We finally got an open. We thank Laddie from Q107. He put it together. It's a simple little open. Kind of will remind you a little bit of the Subway jingle. And then we'll go ahead and we'll get to our list again with the topic being light, L-I-G-H-T. That's the word.
Why don't you just sing it?
No.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping you would do.
No. Hey, believe me, this isn't like Mozart did this thing, but he did the work, so I want to make sure we play it.
Laddie is
He's
Mozart.
the man. He's the man.
But here we go.
We ready?
Five favorite songs.
There we go. Thank you, Laddie. Thank you to the folks at the Q. All right. Sorry about that, Gabe. Thank you so much for reminding me that I didn't play the open once again. Let's get your songs.
My turn. Let's do it then.
Yeah.
So it's going to be me, then you, then Eli.
Okay.
All right. 5. Should be on every list. Blinded by the Light, Manfred Mann. I put it in just by default. Had to. There was no choice. It should. I assume it'll be higher on y'all's list.
By default?
Yeah.
You didn't want to put it in, or you said
No. It's just like it has to be in.
Yes, yeah.
I do have a lot of songs that may be lesser known.
Gotcha.
That I put ahead of it.
That's
just because I like them.
That's a standard right there. Okay.
4, All the Lights, Kanye West and various other artists.
Mm-hmm.
3, Light My Fire by The Doors. 2, Light Up by Drake. Fantastic song. It was really close to being my number 1, but I went this direction for my number 1. Everlasting Light by the Black Keys.
Good song.
Okay.
I like that.
I like that song. I've never heard it before, I don't think, but I like it.
All right.
Black Keys are actually really good.
They're good. They are.
I like the Black Keys.
Yeah, good choice. All right.
By the way, just on a side note, Tiger is playing today with. He's got what I think they're called like gaiters, like you could use them as masks, like around his neck. Like I guess he's prepared to mask up at any moment during this round.
Gaiters? I never heard of that.
It's a little cloth thing that you can
just
could
yank it up
around your head. You could use it as a mask. Like that's. I think gaiter is the official term for it. But he's got one around his neck. So I guess I don't know when he plans on masking up. But even in case of needing a mask during the round, Tiger is ready to go.
Yeah. So right now it's not really helping him. It's a fashion accessory, I think. But until he pulls it up over his nose and his mouth, it's not doing any good on his neck. All right. Here's my 5, and I got to be honest with you. I forgot about the song. I saw somebody's list on Facebook, and I go, how could I have forgotten that one? So I've cut out my Billy Joel song, which was sitting there at number 5, and that was Seen the Lights Go Out on Broadway, Miami 2017. But I have replaced it with Limelight by Rush. Limelight. Love that song. Probably should be higher on my list, but I didn't want to screw this all up. It is at number 5, Limelight by Geddy Lee and the Boys with Rush. Number 4 is Lights by Journey. Number 3, I Saw the Light by one of my favorite artists, Todd Rundgren. Number 2, Light My Fire by Jim Morrison and The Doors. And here is my number 1. Manfred Mann, Blinded by the Light, a song written by Bruce Springsteen. There's also Bruce's rendition, but I love the Manfred Mann. That's the one I really grew up with, and that is my number one song, Blinded by the Light, Manfred Mann.
Good choice. Didn't Bruce record it first?
Yes, it's his song. And then he gave it to Manfred Mann. I don't know if he had a relationship with Manfred Mann. They just did the song, or he said, go ahead and, here. Because he did that with Patti Smith, and he wrote that song, Because the Night. That's also his song, and gave it to Patti Smith. It became a big hit for Patti Smith. And this song became a big hit for Manfred Mann, Blinded by the Light.
All right. Number 5 for me, I Saw the Light, Hank Williams. Number 4, Dancing in the Moonlight, King Harvest. Number 3, The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia. Could do the Vicki Lawrence rendition or Reba. I actually prefer Reba's probably a little bit more. Number 2, I'll skip for a moment because number 1 on my list, also Blinded by the Light by Manfred Mann. Fantastic song, great song. But my number 2, also a great song and a classic.
The time to hesitate is through. No time to wallow in the mire. Try now, we can only lose. And our love become a funeral pyre. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on,
Can't go wrong with the Doors. Light my fire.
Try to set the night on fire.
That'll always do in a pinch.
Ray Manzarek on the little organ there. Man, that's a great song. Great song. You know what Jim he had a few nicknames. You know one of the main nicknames for Jim Morrison was and is?
Jimmy.
The Lizard King. The Lizard King. Jim Morrison on lead vocals. So you and I have agreed. Have we agreed like every day this week? Our number 1. We had our number 1 and our number 2 in this case. I think we had the same number 1.
Yesterday we did, I know. I don't know if I don't remember the rest of the other ones.
You mentioned The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia. I actually love the Vicki Lawrence. She had the first hit with it, right?
Yeah, she was the original, I believe, with that.
Yeah, and it almost made my list, but not quite. So, all right, what do we got for our listeners out there with their lists, their 5 favorite songs for the topic light?
I was telling Eli, I mean, this is y'all's most agreeable week I think I've ever seen producing the show.
I know.
You guys have agreed on more.
When you come in and ask,
than I've ever seen.
Greg finally started choosing good songs and getting away from Mark Lindsay in game.
I'm coming around. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you ever did you get the text this week from me, Gabe, about Mark Lindsay?
No, you didn't send me it.
I went into my car, and I popped on the radio, and then I went on Sirius, and there was, it was Mark Lindsay. And
Did Arizona?
No, it wasn't Arizona. This was him with, it was Cherokee people. It was with Paul Revere and the Raiders, because he was the lead singer for them, Mark Lindsay. And I took a photo of it,
so
and
he's
I
Paul
sent
Revere?
it to you. No, he's not. Paul Revere, it's kind of like,
I want to hear this explanation.
So
I'm trying to think of another example.
He's one of the Raiders, but he's
that's what I was going to say. I don't know.
Yeah, he's Mark Lindsay, man.
It's going to be hard to
But
explain.
he's the lead singer for Paul Revere and the Raiders.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird. But anyway, the agreement. Yeah, when I see Gabe walk in and ask me for my number 1, he has that big old smile on his face. I know we picked the same number 1. It's a giveaway every time I see Gabe now. All right, what do we got?
All right. Let's see. Zed has number 5, The Light in the Glass by Coheed and Cambria. Number 4, Lights by Ellie Goulding.
Yeah, Ellie Goulding.
Number 3, Learning to Be the Light by New World Sun. Number 2, Blinding Lights, The Weeknd. And number 1, I Saw the Light, Todd Rundgren.
Great song.
Somebody checks in with Lights by Journey and Light Up the Sky by Van Halen. Let's see here. Nico, honorable mention to The Living Daylights, James Bond theme. 5, Hit the Lights, Metallica. Number 4, Beginning to See the Light, Velvet Underground. Number 3, The Night the Lights Went Out in Scotland by the Real Mackenzies.
Wow.
I knew they went out in Georgia one night. I did not know they went out in Scotland. Light of a Fading Star, Flogging Molly. And number 1, Caught a Light Sneeze by Tori Amos. Let's see here. Jason. Number 5, Just a Little Light, Grateful Dead. Number 4, Smokestack Lightning, Howlin' Wolf. Number 3, Travelin' Light, J.J. Cale. Number 2, Turn on Your Love Light, Bobby Blue Bland. And number 1, Shine a Light, The Rolling Stones. Raider Corey, number 5, Light Up, Drake and Jay-Z. Number 4, Into the Light, Prince. Number 3, Blinding Lights, The Weeknd. Number 2, Turn Your Lights Down Low, Bob Marley and the Wailers. And 1, Turn Off the Lights, Teddy Pendergrass.
Good song. Love song.
Honorable mention to You Light Up My Life, Debbie Boone.
Oh, gosh.
I almost put that one in.
No. What did I say was the worst song weeks ago? Remember when I went off on somebody's song? I said, that's the worst song. Debbie Boone, and I know this was number 1 forever when it came out. Worst song ever. Debbie Boone. You Light Up My Life. Oh, my
Why
gosh.
is that a terrible song?
That is sap with a capital S. That is corn with a capital C, my friend. No, I'm not going Debbie Boone. Sorry. Not happening.
Coming out here with Mark Lindsay.
Not on my
bad-mouthing
shift.
Debbie Boone.
Don't you badmouth Mark Lindsay.
Let's see. Bobby in Midtown. Lights Out by UFO. Number 4, In the Light, Led Zeppelin. Number 3, Shine a Light by Memphis Legends Target with Jimmy Jameson.
Oh, yeah.
Number 2, White Light, White Heat by Lou Reed. And number 1, Standing in My Light by Ian Hunter.
The late, great Jimmy Jameson, friend of the show. Actually, has been on our show before.
Let's see. Number 5, Shine a Light by the Rolling Stone. Number 4, Bright Lights, Big City by Jimmy Rogers. Number 3, Turn on Your Love Light by Bobby Blue Bland. Number 2, Smokestack Lightning by Howlin' Wolf. And number 1, Lights Are On But Nobody's Home by Albert Collins. Somebody says Dancing in the Moonlight, Thin Lizzy version.
By the way, Dancing in the Moonlight, King Harvest, has been on 3 different lists. It's been on for Dancing. It's been on for Moon.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. That song has gotten more airtime than we do.
Cardinal Steve asked if we've done a category with eyes. We
Yes.
have done eyes.
Yes.
Let's see. Facebook here. John, Limelight by Rush. Light Up by Styx. Boom Boom Out Go the Lights by Pat Travers.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Light My Fire by The Doors. And Lights by Journey. Says, sorry, no Tom Waits song fit this topic. That's unfortunate. Tom's going to have to do one.
We need our daily weights.
Carolyn, Flashlight by Parliament.
Good song. Carolyn, man, oh man, she's terrific with her history of music. I love that tune.
Lights by Journey, The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia, Vicki Lawrence. Vegas Lights, Panic at the Disco. How could you not have Panic at the Disco on your list, Greg?
I know one song by Panic at the Disco.
What's the name of that song? I'm gonna do
5 o'clock in the afternoon. Isn't that it? It's 5 in the afternoon.
5 in the afternoon.
Did you use that when we did numbers?
I don't. I don't remember. Did I?
It came up. I remember this came up before.
Anytime Panic at the Disco comes
maybe
up, I
because
always-
you just give him heck about it.
Everlasting Lights by the Black Keys is also on Carolyn's list. Let's see here. Billy on Facebook. Number 5, Looking for the Light, Rick Trevino. Number 4, Leave the Light On, Jeff Bates. Number 3, Love You with the Lights On, Daryl Singletary. Number 2, Leaving Louisiana in the Broad Daylight, the Oak Ridge Boys. And number 1, New Way to Light Up an Old Flame, Joe Diffie. With an honorable mention to Dim Lights, Thick Smoke by Dwight Yoakam. And I Dream of Jeannie with the Light Brown Hair by Bing Crosby. Got to get our Bing. Daily Bing. Bobby on Facebook. Number 5, The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia, Reba. Number 4, Red Light, David Nail. Number 3, I Saw the Light, Hank Williams. Number 2, Blinded by the Light. Number 1, Lights by Journey, with an honorable mention for I'm Beginning to See the Light by Lawrence Welk. So we got our daily Bing and our daily Lawrence Welk. We did not get our daily Tom Waits.
And a Tori Amos mention.
And
today.
we got Tori Amos. We did get Tori Amos, the return of Tori.
Nobody's gone yet with little Neil Diamond. Isn't it Heartlight? What's the song from E.T.? Turn on your heart. Is it Heartlight? I thought that would get mentioned. That's a Korn song from Neil Diamond.
Let's see here. Number 5, I'm Beginning to See the Light, Velvet Underground. Number 4, Blinded by the Light, Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
Number 3, Light My Fire. Number 2, Colored Lights by the Blasters. Number 1, Turn on Your Love Light, Bobby Blue Bland. I wish people would quit going with that because it's tough to say. Honorable mention, Lights Out, Peter Wolf. I Saw the Light, Todd Rundgren. Somebody says, turn out the lights. The party's over. Dandy Don Meredith, fourth quarter of every Monday night football game. So he says, I'm with you. Forgetting Limelight was a big oops.
Yep. Got it in there, though.
That's Nico. He says, kick Metallica to the curb for the throw-in, for throwing in Rush. Let's see here. I think that is all of those lists.
Gabe, give us a little Limelight to go to the break, if you wouldn't mind. Rush.
I believe that is all
of
our list. Yes. So for tomorrow, and actually somebody texted in about this, and I don't. They may have done this the other day. I know somebody. It may be the same person. Somebody suggested this one. We've done women's names before, but
right.
For tomorrow we're just doing woman or women. The word woman or women.
Yeah, and it was our buddy John Varlas who had texted me the other day. And he said, hey, have you done the women's names? I said, yeah, we've done that already. And he asked me who I had as number 1. I go, I can't remember my damn name, let alone who I had number 1.
See, if you just
about a month ago.
If you save all your lists like I do, let's see, I can tell you who I had number 1 for women's names.
I should have saved everything.
Let's see if I can find it. That's a
lot
of lists to go through. Women's names. I went. I had Elvira by the Oak Ridge Boys.
Do you remember by any chance what I had?
Hell no.
What was that? What else was on your list?
That was probably when you had Mark Lindsay. You probably had Arizona number 1, even though it didn't even fit the category.
No,
that was for states. It actually would have fit this category. Yeah. You used it for states.
That's true. By the way, Paul Revere and the Raiders. You guys are like trying to confuse me and all that. Yeah, Paul Revere is the name of one of the guys in the band who formed the band. Mark Lindsay was the guy who went out and got as the lead singer. So Paul Revere and the Raiders, who had a bunch of hits, including Kicks, which is a great song.
But who was Paul Revere? That's still,
he's just a guy. He's
just a guy that put the band together. He's just there.
Here you go. His name is his name is Paul Revere Dick.
I think that's just what they called him. He adopted the name just to make it sound bright when everybody kept calling him that. I'm just going to go and change my name to Paul Revere Dick. How about that for you guys? That's perfect. We call you that anyway.
In his early 20s, Revere owned several restaurants in Caldwell, Idaho, and first met singer Mark Lindsay while picking up hamburger buns from the bakery where Lindsay worked. The rest is history.
Mark Lindsay was working at a bakery?
Yes.
He should have stayed there.
Their song Kicks is ranked number 400 on Rolling Stone's list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. How about Indian Reservation, my friends?
Paul Revere Dick to blame for Mark Lindsay?
Paul Revere Dick.
Should have left him at the bakery, Paul.
Geddy Lee and Rush take us to the break. We're coming back with our NFL 3-for-all.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles, when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Lemon Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC-accredited facility, and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Lemon Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselemonbrace.com.
Dedicated our life to yours. Wolf Chase Limb and Brace.
Ask Sherwin-Williams and get your color your way. We've made it easier than ever to try and buy color. Preview paint colors in your home with our Color Snap app. Then visit swcolorchips.com to have color chips delivered to your door for free. And when you're ready to paint, shop online. Then stop by your local Sherwin-Williams store for curbside pickup and get everything you need without leaving your car.
Hey, it's me, your cousin, from Boston. I'm on the radio doing ads for Sam Adams. Now I'll be known as the Sam Adams guy instead of the dude who fell in the quarry. Sam Adams Boston Lager is crisp and refreshing, which is why I bring a six-pack wherever I go, except the movies anymore. Sam Adams, from Boston with love. Here's the legal part. Watch how fast I can read. The Boston Beer Company, Boston, Mass. Drink responsibly. Now, is that 30 seconds? Are we even close?
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Pour me something tall and strong, make it a hurricane before I go and
Welcome back, everybody. Man, I laughed so much I was crying. Had to go get a Kleenex during the break. That was funny, that segment.
Somebody texted in and said, come on, Eli, you just don't know. Paul Revere and the Raiders were great. Let Greg educate you. I'm not having any problem. Indian Reservation, I actually like that song. I'm not hating on Paul Revere and the Raiders. I don't like Mark Lindsay. I was just looking up, and I don't know Mark Lindsay. I just like to make fun of the terrible song that Greg chose by Mark Lindsay when we had him. Actually, a song that would have fit the category but didn't. That's the best part about it. The terrible song didn't even fit the category.
It wasn't a terrible song, but it didn't fit the category. Thanks to one of our listeners who educated me on Arizona.
It's one of Greg's favorite songs that he doesn't know what Arizona is referring to, and that's a girl rather than the state. I Googled Paul Revere and the Raiders. There are 28 past members of Paul Revere and the Raiders.
Hey, man, those Raiders.
They've been raided. They got more former Raiders than the Oakland does.
Oh, my God. Maybe we should do, when we do our NFL 3-for-all, we get to the Raiders. Instead of picking the players, we pick former members of Paul Revere and the Raiders.
I wouldn't be much help in that one.
Either would I.
Go ahead and say
Either would I.
Says,
I know Paul Revere and Mark Lindsay.
It says current members include Jamie Revere. So I guess that's Paul's son.
So Jamie Revere Dick.
No, they don't call him that. I don't think. I think they just call him Jamie. See, that's the whole point. Yeah. So I don't know.
They must like Jamie.
Yeah, they like him. They're like Jamie Revere Richard. No, I don't know.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, but there's 28 former members listed of Paul Revere and the Raiders.
Well, any group that has been around forever, for the most part, there's going to be a lot of members because they come and go, except for the Stones when they live forever. It's not all of them. They've lost some, but I think. But you got 3 guys that are like 160 years old apiece, and they were starting in the early 60s. It still amazes me that the Rolling Stones are still around.
Mick Jagger just had a birthday the other day.
Yeah, he turned 170.
I believe it was 77, if I remember correctly, hearing that.
I mean, think about this.
July 26th, a little further, but it was, turned 77 on July 26th.
Now, I don't know if they're planning on any more concerts, any more touring. It may be over, but it wasn't that long ago that they toured. Think about this. The Beatles broke up in 1970. In 1970. It's 2020, for goodness sakes, and we're still talking about the Stones. Who knows? Maybe they'll have another concert or two. Unbelievable. All right, let's talk some NFL. Maestro, please. It is our NFL free-for-all. We count down each team and their greatest players as we get closer to the start of the NFL season. We do it each Tuesday and Thursday. Today we'll take a look at the Chicago Bears, and the Minnesota Vikings. It's our thoughts on the 3 most impactful players in the history of an organization.
On the NFL, when we get to the Raiders, can I choose Mark Lindsay and Paul Revere?
I will let you choose Paul Revere, since he was the founder of the Raiders, and I assume he's the one who came up with the name. So I'll let you include Paul Revere. I don't think I can go as far as Mark Lindsay. All right, so the Chicago Bears are first up today. Eli, why don't you start it off?
All right, I will start with the Bears, the team that everybody asks me if I'm a fan of, and I always have to tell them no. I think there's one that if he's not on your list, you need to throw your list away. That would be Sweetness himself, Walter Payton. 13-year career all with the Bears. Only missed 1 game in 13 years. Made 170 straight starts at running back for the Bears. Meanwhile, led the league in rushing attempts for 4 straight seasons. So that wasn't, that was back when they were giving him the ball every single time, and he still only missed 1 game. Retired as the career rushing leader 7 times, first-team All-Pro, league MVP 1977. The NFL's Man of the Year award now named after him. Mm-hmm. Threw 8 touchdown passes in his career, and actually led the league in kickoff return average as a rookie when he averaged over 31 yards per kickoff return when he did that. He certainly, to me, is Mr. Bear, if there is such a thing. So Walter Payton definitely on the list. The Bears have had a lot of great linebackers through the day, but I went with Dick Butkus. 8 Pro Bowls in 9 seasons, first-team All-Pro 6 times, NFL Defensive Player of the Year back-to-back years in 1969 and 70. Dick Butkus, one of the great linebackers of all time, and part of a long list of middle linebackers for the Bears, but I put Dick Butkus on the list. And then the third one, there were a couple of options that you could have won, I think. I went old school. And even going old school, there were a few options. But I went to the quarterback position with Sid Luckman, winning 4 NFL titles in 12 years, 5 times first-team All-Pro, led the league in passing yards 3 times and touchdowns 3 times. And I had to go with him just because he led the Bears in the 1940 championship game to the 73-0 win over the Redskins. And anybody who beats the Redskins 73-0, by golly, they go on my list.
You mean the Washington football team?
Well, yes, the Washington football team. A 73-0 championship game. Could you imagine if we had a Super Bowl that ended 73-0?
Wow. I'm going to give you 72 points. Who are you taking?
And they had lost to the Redskins during that season 7-3, and then beat them 73-0.
God, how's that happen?
Think about that turnaround. Sid Luckman, you beat the Redskins 73-0. I don't
73 points back in the day too. Wow.
Oh,
that's impressive.
The crazy thing is though, I got to pull up, he only threw 10 passes in the game. He scored 73 points.
All right, let me go second here, and I'm in agreement. Same 3. Dick Butkus, by the way, one of the meanest players in NFL history, and you're looking at an organization that has produced Mike Singletary and Brian Urlacher. So those guys certainly could have been on the list. Gale Sayers could have been on the list, although I kind of penalize him because of the longevity. But Dick Butkus also played special teams throughout his career. And then he was all over the place on television shows. Hang Time. Remember him on Hang Time?
Oh, yes, because everybody thinks of Dick Butkus as a basketball coach.
But he was on a million different sitcoms. Growing Pains, he was on that. He was on a bunch of things. Movies as well. Dick Butkus, Walter Payton, again, it goes without saying. And here's maybe the greatest thing of all those stats you threw out there. And heck, the Man of the Year award, the NFL Man of the Year award, as you mentioned, named after him. He played in 198 of a possible 199 seasons. Talk about durability.
Seasons, that's a lot of seasons.
I'm sorry, games. But you talk about durability? For a running back, 198 out of 199, I'm going to guess he played a lot of games injured. And then Sid Luck, I went old school as well with Sid Luckman. He was the league MVP in 43, but he was one of the earliest quarterbacks to chuck the ball around. So 80 years later, he's still second on the Bears in career passing yards and touchdown passes, which tells you that the Bears have not had a lot of good quarterbacks.
Behind who,
over the
Jay
years.
Cutler?
I'm guessing it's behind Jay
McMahon,
Cutler.
or I don't know.
No, I don't think it's McMahon. I think it might be Cutler. He was also a part of the Chicago Bears' 4 NFL titles in the 40s.
So that championship game where they beat the Redskins 73-0, Sid Luckman went 4 for 6 for 102 yards. And they put up 73 points.
Those were like 102 yards passing in a game and 40 in the 40s. That was like revolutionary.
I wonder if they scored a lot of touchdowns. I wonder if they did it with their I wonder if they did it with their defense and special teams. They got a lot of turnover. I mean, you would have to think, right?
I'm trying to see if I can. I don't know if they.
I mean, they're running the ball.
See if they have
so
that
you have long,
box
sustained
score.
offensive drives, and they get 73. I would think that they probably turned a few picks or fumble recoveries into touchdowns, maybe a return or two. All right, Gabe, what do you think for the Bears?
Yeah, so throw away your list if Walter Payton's not on it. He's just iconic, Hall of Famer, won a Super Bowl, won an MVP, and not to mention just a fantastic human being. The Walter Payton Man of the Year award, named after him. What he did with the Walter Payton Foundation in Chicago, helping the underprivileged youth, was absolutely incredible. But I disagree with y'all. I left Dick Butkus off. Of course, yes, he is iconic. I do think he did a lot. But I went with Mike Singletary instead. Hall of Famer, Super Bowl winner, 10 Pro Bowls, overall crazy person. When you look at him, I think Dick Butkus is sort of the same way. He epitomizes the linebacker mentality. Just hard-nosed, absolutely insane playing middle linebacker, and he also won 2 Defensive Player of the Years while he was playing with the Bears. And then my third, just because I am a huge, huge fan of this guy, another linebacker, Brian Urlacher, coming out of New Mexico, was a safety, sort of became a pass defender / tackle getter. He did everything for that defense and was the stalwart. He's in the Hall of Fame now. He's top 10 in career tackles, and he has 2 Defensive Players of the Year. I just think what he did, when you look at the history of linebackers, is more impressive considering who he was playing against and how much of the pass he had to defend. And being a safety at New Mexico definitely helped him do that.
I have no problem with either one of those selections. I don't can't or necessarily argue. I think any one of those linebackers certainly would qualify. By the way, in that championship game, so the Bears rushed for 381 yards and 7 touchdowns. They did have 3 interception returns for touchdowns as well.
Told you.
Yeah, they threw for a total. Luckman threw for 102. They threw for 138 total, ran for 381, and had 3 interception returns for touchdowns. The 2 teams had the exact same amount of first downs. Each team had 17 first downs, but the Bears won 73-0. 9 turnovers by the Redskins.
9 turnovers?
9-1 turnover battle.
Yeah, I knew it had to be bad. They turned those turnovers into points.
The good old +8. The good old +8.
I'm not
the rare
sure what
+8.
I'm not sure what the record is all time of teams that are +8 in turnover margin, but I'm pretty sure it's good.
I would imagine it is. All right, let's go to the Minnesota Vikings, and I will defer to Gabe to start things off here.
Oh, this one was interesting. It's also interesting when you have a team who's never won a Super Bowl, but it is so historic and sort of has been in there 4 times. But I went Fran Tarkenton, Hall of Famer, MVP. Still is I believe the leading passing yards guy and TD guy for the Vikings.
Yep.
Which is absolutely insane considering you've had guys come along. I don't know what Kirk Cousins will do, but Fran Tarkenton is my number 1 guy. Then Randy Moss. His TD numbers over his career were absolutely insane. I haven't really seen a wide receiver do what he did as far as being a threat from anywhere on the field to get a TD. But he was a loudmouth, but I think he was a fun loudmouth for the most part. I mean, he mooned the Packers. That was awesome. He also just overall was entertaining. The entertainment value that he brought to the field, I thought was incredible. And also, no Super Bowl, but he was dang close. And I know it was with the Patriots. But that undefeated team and how well he played in 2007 was just incredible. I had to put Randy Moss on this list. And then my third, you go a lot of different directions with this, but I went Adrian Peterson. Still in the league, obviously. He is second all-time for rushing yards in a season with 2,097 yards. That was 131 yards per game. That is absolutely ridiculous. He was MVP, Offensive Player of the Year. Comeback Player of the Year, and he's one of the guys who, again, he epitomizes sort of coming back off a crazy injury and being just as good, if not better, that next year. He was the Comeback Player of the Year after his ACL surgery. So Adrian Peterson is my third.
All right, so I tend to go back a little bit in history, and you may tend to go more modern. You had Tarkenton, you had Moss, and I agree with both of those. By the way, Fran Tarkenton was just a fun player to watch, and then became a Monday Night Football broadcaster and a TV co-host. That's incredible. He was a co-host on that television show, if you recall. A lot of NFL guys ended up in television, some longer than others. Randy Moss, I think, is a no-brainer. That rookie year was incredible with 17 touchdown catches and over 1,300 receiving yards. Love your choice of Peterson. I looked at Adrian. I looked at John Randall, Randall McDaniel, who's a great offensive lineman, and Chris Carter. I thought about it as well, but I had to go with Alan Page. Alan Page was the 15th overall pick in '67. He was the NFL MVP in '71. He was the first defensive player ever to win the league's most valuable player. He played 11 years with Minnesota. He was a 6-time first-team All-Pro, 2-time NFL Player of the Year, and then after he hung it up, he became a Minnesota Supreme Court justice. He's class, he's quality, he was a terror on the field. Alan Page is my third Viking.
All right. Well, Tarkenton's a no-brainer. I don't think you could possibly, just like Peyton for the Bears, I think Fran Tarkenton has to be on the Vikings list. As you said, it's amazing to think that a quarterback that played that long ago could still be holding their franchise record for passing yards and for touchdowns. And that's with being traded away and then coming back to the team as well.
Right.
If he would have spent his whole career there, just think what those records would be. I also have Alan Page. To me, if you're going to do the Vikings, there has to be a member of the Purple People Eaters. Like, you just have to do it.
Yeah.
Somebody from that, because that's a iconic defense. And as you said, first defensive player ever to be named the league MVP. I put Alan Page in there. Then for the third one, I looked at a lot. Obviously Randy Moss, obviously Chris Carter. You mentioned John Randall McDaniel. There was but I went with Adrian Peterson over Randy Moss as my third. 10 years with the team, over 11,000 yards, franchise records, 3-time rushing leader, still has the NFL record with 296 yards in a game, won the Offensive Rookie of the Year award there, won the MVP award there. To me, I kind of thought of it, which one more is the face of the modern Vikings, and I think Adrian Peterson over Randy Moss is the face of the modern Vikings.
Yeah, so the only one that was unanimous among the three of us was Fran Tarkenton, but I easily can see Adrian Peterson, and Gabe had AP on his list. I did not. We both had Page and Gabe didn't. But, yeah, a lot of good choices with Minnesota. As we mentioned some of the other guys that we considered that did not make the list. So there you go.
Bobby in Midtown for the Bears has Butkus, Red Grange, and Walter Payton. For the Vikings has Carl Eller. Oh, so it's Carl Eller, Atlet Page, couldn't decide. Adrian Peterson and Fran Tarkenton. Let's see. Raider Corey, Vikings, Tarkenton, Adrian Peterson, Alan Page. For the Bears, Peyton, Refrigerator Perry, and Mike Singletary.
The fridge. He's iconic.
Bobby on Red Grange says nobody cared about the NFL. College football was king until Red Grange went pro to the Bears. He made the NFL popular with the public.
Yeah, we went old school with Sid Luckman, and that's real old school, right? Red Grange, when did he play? Did he play at the same time as Luckman?
Did Red Grange go to Illinois, too?
Yes.
Went from
Yes.
Illinois to... Okay.
He was Galloping Ghost? Is that Red Grange?
Yes.
The Galloping Ghost?
Red Grange played in the 20s and early 30s.
Yeah, I thought he was even
Bronco
earlier than
Nagurski
Luckman.
was the running back with Sid Luckman.
Wow, Bronco Nagurski?
I believe.
It's funny. Every time I hear the name Sid Luckman, I keep thinking of Eugene Levy playing that one character on SCTV. Just, I don't know why. Sid Luckman. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, final segment, which will include one final thing. We'll put a wrap on this extremely busy Thursday edition of Middays right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 96.1 FM, or 87.7 FM.
You hear the phrase all day, every day. In these uncertain times this, in these uncertain times that. Well, in these uncertain times, one thing I know for certain, you want you some Central Barbecue. Central Barbecue is open for you to dine in or carry out, online orders and curbside pickup. And another thing you could be certain about is this. We are doing everything in our power to keep you and our staff safe. You can be sure that everyone working at any Central Barbecue is following every safety protocol there is, and they'll encourage you to do the same. Come on in and get some Central Barbecue. And yes, your face covering is probably going to end up with some sauce on it. A small price to pay for safety.
Summertime and the living is easy. No more cutting or paying utilities. Literally, you guys, Town Village Audubon Park, nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $24.50. The Gourmet Chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, monthly coffee club, themed dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so when you call 8338-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM. As well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, tell Google or Alexa to play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quincy White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
We opened the show talking about the Grizzlies' loss. They're 0-4 now in the bubble, losing to the Jazz yesterday, and they'll play tomorrow against Oklahoma City. But there was more good news from the NBA bubble. Third consecutive update with 0 positive COVID-19 tests. 343 players tested, so certainly some good news. Also, Bill Hancock, friend of the show, college football playoff executive director, said selection committee still plans to meet in person this year. Good luck with that, but that's the game plan right now. And as expected, the D2 and D3 divisions have canceled all fall sports championships.
Update from the PGA Championship. Two guys at the top of the leaderboard at 4 under par, Scotty Scheffler and Zach Johnson. Tony Finau, Jason Day, Martin Keimer, Xander Schauffele, Bud Cauley, Gary Woodland, Alexander Noren, Mike Lorenzo Vera, all at 3 under par. And if you're scoring at home, that's all 3 of my picks from yesterday at 3 under par, 1 shot off the lead, which means they'll all have a disaster tomorrow. Brooks Koepka's at 2 under, Daniel Berger's at 2 under, Justin Rose, Dustin Johnson at 2 under. Sean McKeel still at 1 under par through 9 holes. Tiger Woods is 1 under through 8. Justin Thomas 1 under through 8. Let's see here.
A lot of guys haven't teed, right?
Rory McIlroy 1 over through 8, playing with Tiger and Justin Thomas.
It's only 10:52 there, right? So we got a lot of guys who will tee in the afternoon.
What's interesting is you have Zach Johnson tied for the lead. You also have Zach J. Johnson at 2 over par through 5.
He doesn't have to call me Johnson.
There's two Zach Johnsons.
How about that?
Playing in this tournament. But, yeah, there's still a lot of folks to go off yet this afternoon. Again, the coverage goes into prime time tonight, which I absolutely love. I think it actually comes on ESPN. Right now you can stream it on ESPN+. I believe the coverage comes on ESPN on television at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Time now for one final thing.
Before Greg and Eli get out of here for the day, they each have one final thing they think you should know to make it through the rest of your day. So here are Greg and Eli with one final thing.
Second-year University of Maryland head football coach Mike Loxley today will announce the creation of the National Coalition of Minority Football Coaches. The nonprofit organization will seek to not only identify and groom coaches of color, male and female, for upward mobility, but also create candidates lists that will be vetted by a board of directors that includes some of the most respectful and powerful names in the sport. So members of the board will include Ozzie Newsome, Nick Saban, Bill Polian, Mike Tomlin, Doug Williams, Debbie Yao, the retired basketball coach and pioneering college administrator, also Rick Smith, the former Texans general manager, and others. We talked locally with Cowboy Eric Robinson about what they're trying to do with minority coaches in Memphis in high school and try to pave a path for them to move up into college coaching and maybe one day even the NBA. This is on a national scale for college football coaches, so I think it's something that really makes sense to be in place.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I found this interesting because obviously we've been talking about high school football here, but the only state since the pandemic began that has held high school sports is the state of Iowa.
Yes.
And they just completed their baseball season earlier this week with their state championship games. 94% of teams were unaffected. 96% of teams finished the season. And fans were allowed all season long as well for Iowa high school baseball. And were able to get the entire season in the midst of all of this going on. They were able to do it. So I guess congratulations to them.
Yeah, I saw that it was Iowa's the only one. I was surprised that they were the only one. I thought maybe like Idaho or Montana out there in the West that's spaced out the way it is. It's not heavily populated. They probably kept the sports going, but Iowa the only one. And
I don't know how many states play high school baseball as a summer sport, which is what they do in Iowa. I'm not sure how many, obviously if you were playing it in the spring, you shut it down because you didn't know what that was going on. They had a chance to kind of see what was going on and figure out a plan. I don't know how many states do that as a summer sport.
No, I have no idea. Remember, the Keep Memphis Roaring campaign is out. We had Laird Veach on earlier to talk about that. You can check that out if you're a season ticket holder at the University of Memphis and look at your options for the upcoming football season. Tomorrow, Jerry Brewer is going to join us for the first time. He's the Washington Post sports columnist. We'll talk some NBA, I'm sure some Redskins and other things with him. 5 favorite songs tomorrow. Again, women or woman. The word women or the word woman in the title of your songs. We'll have 10 in a row. The game show that has swept 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. And we will also have, I believe, Mike Oresco, who will be on with the guys today, Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. But I believe he's also scheduled to join us tomorrow sometime between 10 and 1. Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. It is coming up next. Big thanks to Tim Mulqueen, Tony Barnhart, and Laird Veach for joining us on the program today. For Eli and Gabe, I'm Greg. Have a great rest of your Thursday, everybody.
Well, it's all going to pot, whether we like